Is it? I freaking hate streaming. I don't know what I'm doing. If that was not abundantly clear already. Is it working? Oh, for God's sake, I gotta sneeze. Let me mute myself. Oh, okay. I hope nobody's into sneezing in a weird way, because if so, you're welcome. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's your host, Michelle, aka Chat-Mort, and thank you so much for turning once again to my humble little channel. As you can see, I'm streaming. As you can see, I have MS Paint open, so we are going to have a heck of a time. Give me just a moment, any of you that are actually watching this later. Which is probably just going to be me, because like I obsessively rewatch my streams after I do them, because I'm like morbidly fascinated with myself, even though my own face and voice make me cringe so hard I almost like turn into a little ball that turns so inside out I turn into a black hole and devour the entirety of the matter that's existed since the beginning of time. So I'll probably, like, groggily in the morning while I'm drinking my coffee and trying to do my hair, end up watching this again later. But for anyone, yeah, who watches this later, where was I going with that? Good question. All right, my phone won't flip right. Hello? Hello? Okay. Let me tweet that I'm doing this briefly. Give me just a moment. Here. Well, let me see. If I go to subscriptions, will I show up? If I go to... I can't be subscribed to myself. If I go to home, will I show up? Wait, who else is live? Oh, some black guy is live. Okay. That's fine. Everybody can watch him instead of me. I won't be offended. My videos? Will that work? Look at me! There I am. Oh, please stop talking. Shoo. Okay, I just gonna mute myself. Share. Twitter. Hold on. This is gonna take all of my faculties, and I'm not even, like, remotely intoxicated. I'm just a weenie. Okay. Alright. Return. I'm streaming! Exclamation point, colon, close parenthesis. Well, that's cringy. Ah, yes. I'm staying on brand, I suppose. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm here now. I'm paying attention now. I should also share on Facebook that I'm doing this, but I kind of don't care. You know, I could. I guess I could. I could share on my Facebook page that I'm doing this and see if any of the people I know in real life show up as well. Please let me know. You guys, I'll be checking the chat periodically. Switch to live chat if you have not already, unless you're a weenie and you're mortified at the thought of ever being offended by anything. Duh, my little brain, man. God, it's not working out so well for me. Let me know if I have any audio issues, please. If you watched my most recent video, the commentary one on whatever that was it about Joe Biden? Is that my most recent one, or is there one more recent than that? That's not good, me not remembering. No, my more recent one about how gross and disgusting Brian Sims is, the Pennsylvania representative guy. That was my most recent video about him and about the fact that some conservatives are being really, really childish and are, like, using personal attacks against him just to kind of, like, dogpile on him no, that's not the right thing. As opposed to trying to, like, take the high road and focus on the awful things he's done and actually stay on task with criticizing his behavior and his stances as opposed to just personal attacks. So it was a video about that, asking conservatives to try to be mature, since the left is going to use anything and everything possible to try to make us look like a bunch of bullies. So if people even act out of character momentarily and act like bullies, that's what the left is going to seize on, to use I guess saying that people are seizing on something is kind of a sensationalist thing now, just because somebody used that in a really goofy, disingenuous way in a headline recently. There, okay. I don't know why I do this to myself. I have, like, 39 likes on my Facebook page for my channel. Maybe. And Nemo's like the only person who ever likes my posts. God bless Nemo. He's such a good guy. Ugh. And then I have the title capitalization tool open because I always like copy and paste my titles into the title capitalization tool. It's by like some university to make sure that like in APA style I capitalize the right things in my titles because I'm like obsessive about correctly capitalizing things. Okay, I'm on task now. Assassin says you have bangs. I do. Do you think they're okay? I periodically I re-get like bangs and then I just let them grow out. I'm going to try really hard this time to trim them myself and not let them grow out. However, the first time I decided to try to trim them myself instead of asking someone else for help who had, actually wielded scissors for the purpose of, enhancing someone's cosmetic qualities, as opposed to like the first time they'd ever done it being right then, which was me. That was the first time I'd ever even tried to cut somebody's hair. First time I did it, they were like this long, and I had to use like 6 bobby pins to just pin them back and try to pretend it wasn't happening. So me cutting my hair is not good, but instead of just kind of like letting my hair grow out and like get long enough that it's just in my eyeballs and then like just in my nostril and just like getting eaten every time I eat food, and then having the lady like cut it again in 3 months when I'm not too stingy to get my hair done, I'm gonna try and like maintain them. I'm gonna try, because I think my bone structure, any help I can get I will take, and I think I look a lot better with bangs. I think they're flattering to my bone structure. So I don't know. Some people don't like them. I like them. I like them. I like them a lot. I'm drinking a Mike's Margarita. They're my favorite thing in the world. They're so good. That doesn't sound good. That makes me sound like an addict. And I'm actually not. I'm not. I drink alcohol maybe twice a week. It's funny. Like, I've talked to other people about this. Like, I don't have any friends who are heavy drinkers. We're all, like, we might have a couple beers socially, but that's about it. Like, every once in a while, I will have like a glass of wine, but lately I've steered more toward beer. When I was younger, I didn't like beer, but now I don't care for things that are too sweet. So like I might have 2 or 3 glasses of wine a week, or maybe like 3 beers a week at most. And then there are other times when I will go for a whole month and I will not want alcohol at all. It's weird. But also, I do not drink when I am upset. I do not drink to numb myself. I do not drink as a coping mechanism because, dear friends, even if there weren't a couple alcoholics like further up the chain and steps removed from me and my family, when you have depression, drinking to alleviate your depression does not work. Don't do it. That's a very nice tangent to go on. That's not incriminating at all. Just out of nowhere, I'm babbling about political issues. I'm not an alcoholic, by the way. Anyway, so the president said. That's a good look for you, Michelle. It's very good. Very non-suspicious. And hi, Scrappy. Welcome. I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope you're doing good, but to be realistic, I hope you're okay. A blonde Betty Page. That's really sweet. Thank you. So I just got home. My fiance and I were on an adventure visiting people, and now we're back. And now he's in bed, because he's a normal person and has a normal sleep schedule. I am not. And I felt bad because I have not streamed and hung out with you guys a lot. I felt like I could this week. Like I felt kind of inspired. And I wanted to stream a couple nights this week because it's so much fun to just hang out and chat with you guys. But I just didn't do it. And I didn't stream on Twitch either, which is not good. Every time I had some like downtime, I was like focusing on this stupid video that I just made, the one about Brian Sims. I know this is a very normal thing, but because that was a video, I know, Jeezy, isn't my background amazing? This is like this picture. If I could like have someone who paints like fine art for a living paint a giant mural of this and have this as like the wall like that I look at when I wake up in the morning opposite my bed, I would do it in a heartbeat. As soon as I can afford that, I will do it. It's so good. It's actually the thumbnail for a Glob Glow Gab Galab smoke weed every day like mashup. It's hilarious, and it's basically my favorite picture of all time. So, I turned in my business card design to my barber. She loved it. Good thing since she cuts my hair. I'm snipe streaming you on my gaming channel. Thank you, Jamesy. How cool. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing okay. I was talking about something, wasn't I? Yeah, I apologize. I was working this whole week on that video, the one where I just used audio and spliced it together, because I didn't want to like actually try to look nice and then screw up the lines 18 times in a row with spinach in my teeth, and like I would get too sweaty and my makeup would be like bleeding up all over my forehead and like Rorschach blots without me noticing it till the end of the video. And then the whole time I'm editing it, I'm just like weeping because I'm so ashamed of everything that my existence has come to. Also, drink alcohol responsibly and only when you are of legal age. That should keep you from getting in trouble, folks. Especially if you're snipe streaming me. I don't want to get anybody scolded. It's just funny because the video I made recently, and yeah, in like 35 minutes I'll eventually start drawing on here. Or I should start drawing right now. I don't know what I'm thinking, not drawing. And I also have to just go on another tangent, which is actually a tangent circling back to the point of this video. And then I'll go off on the other tangent, which is much more my style, just talking about totally unrelated things. The reason I wanted to draw something in paint is because I finally bought like a tablet, and I don't like spending money, so it took me a long time to finally decide to do it. But I did a ton of research, and I finally bought like a device to actually be able to do digital drawings on. Because years ago, one of the great things about having people in your life who feel like they failed you when they were supposed to be there for you as a child is that they then try to fill that hole in their heart and yours with money. So when I was first going into college, I was given a tablet as a gift, a Surface 2 Pro, which is a good tablet. And I planned to use it, like I was just going to download all my textbooks on Kindle and stuff like that. This mouse, by the way, whoa, that's a button? Oh, I'm in for a bad freaking time. This mouse, I got it. I'm sorry, like it's really bright and washed out so you can't see it. But my fiance had this mouse. And I went over to his desk and I was like, what's that? It's really pretty. So this is a new mouse. I assume it's more like gaming oriented, but it's gorgeous. Like it's too bright for my monitors, but it is the like most chic, cool design of all time, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm so excited. However, I've been using like a stereotypical Logitech wireless mouse, so my MS Paint drawings are going to be even worse than usual because this mouse is like, the buttons are more sensitive, but it's like in order to select anything you have to double click as opposed to single click, which is peculiar. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. It really doesn't matter. But my drawings are going to be like even worse than usual, so I apologize. I'm just going to doodle here. How many times did I zoom in? I can't tell because I didn't draw anything. Okay, I'm pretty zoomed in now. Let's zoom out. Oh yeah, okay, I zoomed in a couple times too many. All right, that's good. Now let's zoom in really far and just see what we can do. The reason I'm so excited and I wanted to draw in paint is because I finally selected a tablet, and it's actually, I keep going back like 12 steps in my story. Can you imagine, like the people who've been friends with me since I was little are absolute saints. And can you also imagine like how disoriented I have to be for my mind to be this ridiculous? Like, this is all the more mental clarity I ever have. I don't know how I got my bachelor's degree. God was with me every step of the way, and he was probably shaking his head and ashamed that he made me. But, sorry. The Surface 2 Pro is a phenomenal tablet. It's really nice. And I was super happy to have it. You know, it's a good tablet. I wish Paint had layers. So I got it with the plan to, you know, download all my like textbooks on like the Kindle versions of them. And I also wanted to use it for drawing. Like, I've always wanted a tablet. I've always wanted to draw digitally. And I started doing that when I was little. Like, I was an only child. I had, like, one really awesome friend when I was wee little. And then as I got, like, into school, you know, I had a couple more friends, of course. I wasn't, like, completely isolated, but effectively I was isolated as a child. My parents were both working all the time, and I had nobody, you know, most of the time. I had a babysitter who, like, promised not to sit all day watching QVC and, like, sleeping in front of the TV, and then she did it anyway. So even when my babysitter was there, who actually, like, I'm sure she's deceased by now. I don't mean to, like, besmirch her name. I don't mean anything like that. But, like, she just, like, neglected me. And I'm not going to say she, like, had the obligation of taking care of me, but during her shifts, she did. And, like, my parents didn't make a ton of money, and they paid her very well. So, like, this woman, first of all, she lied about her age. So she was a very manipulative woman. So she would do bad things, but she would always warn you about other people doing bad things to try and make you feel closer to her, and, like, you'd found a gem of a person. You know, like, when she answered the ad, I think in the paper my parents placed for a babysitter, she, like, gave them a big speech about, you know, you really have to be careful. Like, there are some awful people out there, which is true. You know, you can never be careful enough and thorough enough when vetting someone to babysit your kid. But then she was kind of mean to me. She was, like, manipulative. And I think, like, obviously no, like, psychological or, like, mental illness type issues or, like, personality disorders or anything like that. Like, they usually cannot be connected to just one issue unless you just have, like, conventional post-traumatic stress disorder, which I do not have, I don't think. I think I have a milder version of PTSD, actually, which is, I'm sorry, that's a really personal tangent to just dive face first into out of nowhere. But looking back on it, I do think the way my babysitter treated me was in part responsible for how, like, sort of neurotic I am and how terrified I am of making anybody upset and terrified I am of people leaving me. Like, this was a woman who, when I was in preschool, we watched Mary Poppins, like, every day. Now, Mary Poppins is a phenomenal movie, but, like, we watched it several times a week. She babysat me several times a week, and she wanted to watch this movie several times a week. And one day I told her, Nanny, I don't want to watch Mary Poppins today. And because I didn't want to watch Mary Poppins days and days and days in a row, she threatened to go home. And she was nasty about it, too. Like, I didn't know how to tie my shoes till, like, second grade, which is also just a, you know, like, minor example of how my home life was not good. There was not a hands-on parenting approach a lot of the time, even though that wasn't necessarily my parents' fault or, like, one of my parents' faults at the time. It was just one of those situations where it was hard, you know, for everybody. And anyway, you know, I'm not blaming anybody. I don't want to make it sound like pitiful. But, like, this lady, because I didn't want to watch Mary Poppins for, like, the 4th day in a row, she knew I was really embarrassed about not knowing how to tie my shoes, because I realized all the other little boys and girls knew how, you know, and I had no idea. So this woman said, if you don't want to watch Mary Poppins with me, I can call, because she didn't drive. She was like, I can call, and she said one of her son's names. And she said, I can have him pick me up and drive me home, and you can tie your own shoes and walk to your mom's work and tell her why Nanny went home. Like, that's how awful and manipulative of a person this was. I was 4. And that's what she did to me because I told her I didn't want to watch Mary Poppins again. So, she was not the best babysitter. So, like, even when there was somebody there, I was alone. I was alone all the time. This is like the most incoherent, like, time-skippy story of all time. This is a lot. But basically a lot of the time when I wasn't hanging out with my best friend, and her babysitter hated me, because, like, she wasn't getting paid to take care of me, and even though I was only there for, like, very short amounts of time till one of my parents could pick me up, she hated me. She treated me like trash. She made it clear that she couldn't stand me and didn't want me there. It's a fun freaking childhood. The more I think about these things, I'm like, it's no wonder I'm the way I am. But most of the time, unless I was hanging out with friends or my babysitter actually hadn't like gotten settled in and gone to sleep yet, or hadn't told me to go play while eating our Ovaltine jar with a freaking spoon, I was on the computer, which is why I hate Windows 10 with a passion, because I started with Windows 95. I was born in 92, at the end of 92, so obviously I didn't know everything about it. But like all these creepy like woobified like try-hard futuristic start menus and stuff like with Windows 8 and 10 enrage me. Like, give me a normal like file tree, give me a normal start menu. I don't know how to use this creepy like try-hard like futuristic sci-fi movie bullcrap. I don't know how to use it. Stop with the like goofy like theme park ass condescending garbage, Windows, please. Which is also why I will never have a Surface tablet again, ever. Windows 8, I would rather have gonorrhea, undiagnosed for years, till like my organs are flying out of my nostrils because I'm dying, than have Windows 8 or even look at Windows 8 ever again. Was that a tangent? Maybe. I've not had that much to drink either. So I think I lost a viewer. Peace. Don't blame me at all. But I was on the computer all the time. I was drawing for hours a day in Microsoft Paint when I was like 4 or 5. Probably like 5, because I don't know if home computers were out when I was 4. But I remember when I was little, like when my dad was actually not working all the time, like I remember sitting on his lap and watching him play Jezball and stuff like that, because obviously he wouldn't be answering emails and doing boring stuff like that or reading the news when I was around. He would play something that I could watch so he could kind of like try and teach me about it. I remember him trying time and time again to explain how Minesweeper worked to me. Now I can beat Minesweeper in like 30 seconds, which I'm very proud of. But like, I've been on computers my whole life, and I love to draw. So I was drawing just with a mouse in Microsoft Paint when I was wee little. Like I was wee little. I hope it'll show you this. Oh crap, it's not showing you the edit color screen. Like I would pick this color, this kind of like reddish brown in the edit colors, and then I would like go way light on the gradient. And like when I was wee little, I figured out this is how you draw skin, and then you pick a couple shades that are very similar and you can use those as highlights and shading. Like I taught myself all that from a young age. So I've been drawing digitally since I was wee little. Like I'm obsessed with drawing. When I wasn't playing cats, what was the publisher? Because the publisher went out of business. Like Cats and Dogs, like with a Z at the end, those like games that were just like very, very simplistic simulators of owning a pet, where you could like squirt your cat with a spray bottle, and like when you got the catnip plant out, it made like a trippy ass sound and stuff like that. When I wasn't playing the Cats games, and I wasn't losing at Jezball because I didn't understand how to do it, and I still am very bad at it when I find it on like free sites just for nostalgia's sake, I was drawing all the time on the computer. And so, because of that, I really, I just want to draw digitally. And I've been watching somebody recently her name is Creepshow Art here on YouTube. And I actually came across her because occasionally she does commentary on like drama or like big PR crises is what I would call them. Debacles, conflicts, think controversies is the good word for that, on YouTube. And I first saw her through her video on Holly Conrad's stupid, ridiculous tweet during the Pro Jared situation. I really hope Ross kept Pancake, because Ross is just an angel and he deserves so much better than Holly. But I found Creepshow Art through her video talking about how ridiculous Holly was being during the whole Pro Jared scandal. And then I found her again when she did a video on James Charles and how like super far left SJWs are being completely ridiculous and hyperbolic and unfair in trying to analyze the situation, and how like super far leftists are trying to give James Charles a pass for his inexcusable behavior because he's gay, because he's queer. So this girl has a lot of opinions, I'm sure, that are very different from mine, but some of them are very similar. So I discovered her, and for the last couple days, I've just been binge watching her videos because she is just she's articulate, but she is so funny in how she describes things. And in all of her videos, like for the visuals, she does speed paints. Speed paints where she uses like some kind of digital art software and she draws on her tablet. And she's an artist for a living. Like she does commissions for people for a living, digital art. And watching that, like, it makes me ache to the core to be able to do digital art, not just with a mouse, because you're so limited when you're trying to draw with a mouse, especially when your mouse breaks all the time and you get new ones. And then you have to relearn how to use your tool that you're using to draw. So I have finally picked out a tablet. It's actually like a used, like much cheaper iPad Pro, because I want like a standalone like processor, you know. I don't want to have to be like plugged into my computer or my laptop. I want to be able to draw in bed. I want to be able to draw on the couch, because like we don't want the cats in the computer room, because Domino in particular eats cords. He has destroyed, like, the headphones I'm using right now are the first headphones my dad ever bought me as a Christmas gift. These ancient Klipsch headphones that are like so falling apart that all the leather came off on me and I couldn't figure out why there was leather stuck to me. Like, the headphones are falling apart. All the more recent pairs of headphones I bought, and I stopped using these because I was having connectivity issues with them, Domino has eaten through all of them. Just like one little nom while I'm not looking, and like a $30 pair of headphones is gone. So I want to be able to like go sit with the cats, you know, in a room that they're allowed in all the time, because they're so clingy, especially Domino. He's such a mama's boy, and every time he sees me, he's just like purring, he's like pawing at me. He like puts his little feeties on my shoulder and rubs on my nose, and he like kicks and tries to jump with his little back feet, so I hold him like a baby and carry him around. Like, I feel bad, you know, these are our animals, they're our babies, they don't know anything else but us, and they love us dearly. Like, I want to be able to hang out with the cats and also be drawing. And I just want to be able to draw digitally, you know, better than like point and click MS Paint drawing. So like when I got the Surface 2 Pro for college, I was so excited because I was going to be able to draw on it. You know, it has I think it's Adobe that publishes it. It's this software called Procreate. It's like a glorified MS Paint, but it's not quite like Photoshop or anything that complex. And I was trying to draw in that, and I was so excited because I finally had like a touchscreen, like tablet, like a tablet that has its own processor and its own monitor. It's a standalone computer. And I was like, I can finally draw digitally on a tablet, because I've always wanted to do that so bad. I want to draw beautiful things. I want to be able to use different layers. Obviously, I do traditional art as well occasionally, but I wanted to be able to do this, and I've always longed to be able to do this. And, you know, to a very simplistic extent, I always have done it. Like this, you know, like a digital art is just something I've been doing since before it was even really a thing. So, the problem is I discovered that my stylus didn't work, and this was a stylus specifically for the Surface 2 Pro. I always do these like really bizarre prismatic, like sort of anime eyes, and they just come out really strange, but it's like I can't fight it. This is the kind of eyes that like come out of me when I try and draw. I'll make them look better later, I promise. But yeah, the problem is the Surface 2 Pro, the like generation of it I had, doesn't work for drawing. Like, the stylus does not work for drawing. And the problem is that the screen does not register when you like make contact and make continuous contact to like draw a brush stroke. Like, it understands if you're like swiping something like you do in other software, but if you're trying to draw a straight line with the stylus that comes with the tablet, it doesn't pick it up. So I would be trying to draw a straight line, and it would look like this, like just trying to draw a straight line. And maybe like 5% of the time, it would just like pick up and draw like maybe a sort of like staggered straight line. But most of the time it looks like this previous thing I showed you. And so I researched and researched, and I was like, well, what do? I can't draw, and that's all I wanted to do. I so badly yearned to do that. So then I was like, well, you know, I researched about it, and the stylus doesn't work for drawing. And the reason that a lot of these sites said for it not working, that generation of it with a stylus, is because it's the whole point of a tablet is to be a touch screen. People aren't thinking about like the way artists want to use a tablet like that. Like the fact that some tablets are good for digital artists it was secondary at that time. It was not something that everybody like tried to be on top of to be competitive with other like tablet manufacturers. So, I researched and I discovered capacitive styluses. And a capacitive stylus, at least the kind that I found and bought on Amazon, which was like one of my first Amazon purchases on my own ever, it's just like a pen. It's like a normal stylus. However, at the end where like the little ballpoint would be on a normal pen, you snap this little thing on that's this tiny little like stem of plastic, and then this circular, very soft, like flat disc of plastic. And that little flat disc of plastic, which was maybe like this big, maybe like 2.5 centimeters in diameter, it is supposed to mimic the electrical field, or replicate the electrical field that your finger makes. So a capacitive stylus is made to work on screens, touch screens that are explicitly and exclusively to be used with a finger and not a stylus. So if you want to use a stylus on something like that, you buy what I believe is called a capacitive stylus, because the tip of it mimics the electrical field that the touch screens pick up that your finger puts out. You're welcome. So, excuse me, what? I bought a capacitive stylus only to find out that that's not the problem. The touchscreen just doesn't, on the Surface 2 Pro, at least that generation of it, did not, it didn't correctly pick up and read when you make like a steady line, you like hold down, press, and drag. It wouldn't do it, and I was just devastated because I tried so hard. I was so excited to finally be able to do this. So I was devastated, and all I've wanted this whole time so badly is to be able to draw digitally. That's all I want. That's all I want. And I finally figured that it was justifiable to buy, it's like a refurbished tablet. So I didn't spend the whole amount, because I was like stunned when you look at like the Wacom like mobile like companion things that are like its own processor. They're like $1,800 minimum for like the Wacom mobile studio tablet and stuff like that. I can't justify spending that kind of money, like if my car breaks down and I need a new car, what do I say? Well, I spent all my money on this tablet, so I finally bought one that I researched thoroughly to figure out what tablets are good for digital artists, because I've always wanted to do it so badly, but I kind of like the urge I was able to kind of quell it and ignore it till it went away, because I just kind of like had acknowledged or conceded the fact that I was never going to be able to draw digitally. I just wasn't, And watching this girl, her channel's called Creepshow Art, watching her do this beautiful digital art, she like just records herself doing this art, and then she speeds it up and has that as the video while she does her audio discussion of different things. It made me ache so badly to be able to do digital art. It's all I wanted so badly. And now that I've finally got my tablet coming on Wednesday, I'm so excited I could just die. I'm going to try not to, because that would just be my luck to die right before my tablet comes. I just wanted to draw something digitally right now, and I thought that would be a good thing to do while I'm streaming, because sometimes I do that, and sometimes you guys are like marginally interested and amused by that. And I'm so sorry I have not been reading the chat. I will try to catch up on it. I'll read some of the old stuff, but I'll just respond to the most recent messages since it's been so long since I started. I'm sorry, you guys. I wasn't very good about like keeping up to date and current with your messages. And then I'll talk more about my video I just made about Brian Sims and about the stuff that I really disapproved of and felt obligated to point out and critique that conservatives have been doing when discussing him. And basically, they're doing, like, they're engaging in personal attacks about really petty things and being judgmental. And it's Brian Sims. Like, it's an awful human being. And instead of just focusing on the issue at hand, the deplorable way he has behaved, they were just kind of generalizing to personal attacks, you know, like they've done to the Cortez girl in New York. And that makes us look awful, and it's going to make him feel like he's the victim, you know. And so it was a video about that, but I'll talk about that in a moment. Go watch that if you haven't. It's my most recent, scripted, recorded video. That didn't come out very well. No, stop. Go away. Help. How did I open that menu? What even was that? Oh, I tried to hit undo and it was trying to save it. It was actually trying to save it in the folder of the YouTube video of the files for that video I was just talking about. Odd. Did I edit something in Paint? Did I crop something in Paint for that video? No, in MS Paint I drew the you tried little star badge on Brian Sims's shirt on one of the photos, so he could feel like he at least tried, and I used that photo in my video. That's what it was. I look at this on the dashboard and in OBS, it doesn't look as good as when I'm drawing it. Now, why is that? Doobie-doo. Hi, Volpe. Welcome. Does a pickle roll. How does one do a pickle roll? You want to watch Mary Poppins? I don't. And a long time ago, Vagante said, "You're being way too generous. Your babysitter was abusive. There's no not a nice person to it." It's hard for me to think about things in that context, you know, because part of me, unfortunately, is really reluctant to believe anything that people tell me. Even though I know I have been psychologically abused by several of the people who should have been taking care of me and who should have had my best interests at heart growing up, because SJWs are so quick to accuse everyone of psychological abuse for being fairly critical of people, or for being firm and not letting people cross their boundaries and stuff. When I hear that, it's one of those things where it's still hard for me to accept, although I recognize that, yeah, my babysitter was being manipulative in a way that, I was an extremely sensitive kid. So, yeah, she knew how much that would traumatize me, and that's why she did it, because she knew she would get what she wanted out of it. And I didn't tell my mom that she did that. She threatened to leave me at home alone as a 4-year-old all day. And she framed it in a way where I thought I was the bad one and I was going to get in trouble for her abandoning me when that was her job. I didn't tell my mom that until 7 years ago. So a long time after she was my babysitter. I never told a soul, you know? And, yeah, I mean, it was unbelievably shitty and irresponsible of her, and it was awful. It was absolutely awful. Windows 8 was trash. Yes, you are correct, Full Metal Pickle. Windows 10 is just a redraw of AOL Kids 1996. It's awful. I have mine set to show a more familiar start menu. Yeah, I always use the plugin or whatever you could download, Windows Shell, to try and make it look like a start menu I could actually navigate and process in my own head. Bangs look bangin'. Thank you. I'm glad people like them. Assassin said, "All right, I looked up that globglow swabulab. That stuff is nightmare fuel." A man-worm Jabba the Hutt monstrosity. That is so true. That is absolutely true. Yeah, it's horrible but amazing. A lot of you guys probably don't know who this is, but there's a guy, Saber Spark, whose videos, I'm kind of neutral on them. Some of them I loved. They're a good thing to put on in the background, but they're not my favorite genre. But Saber Spark reviews a lot of really strange kids shows and kids movies, especially ones that are just terribly made. And he talked about the Christian movie, the CGI movie that the Globglow Gabgalab was from, and it's supposed to be sort of an analogy for some biblical principles, and it was all made by one guy. The guy is really, really sweet, and he genuinely meant well with it. But the Globglow Gabgalab is this creature in it, and he's a nightmare. But he's like a hysterically funny, bizarre, unbelievably unique nightmare. And like for some reason, partially due to Saberspark doing a video talking about how bizarre this thing is, which then the Christian guy who made the movie claimed and took down, which was not very Christian of him. Like, people are doing fair usages of your footage. People are critiquing your footage in a fair way. Like, I wanted to buy this movie because of the freaking Glob Glow Gab Galab. And now you're taking everybody's videos down because you can't handle the criticism, even though it's like single-handedly responsible for probably 75% of the sales you made off this movie, if not more like 95% of the sales you made off this movie. That's not very Christian of you, buddy. But the whole internet blew up with this Glob Glow Gab Galab creature. It is, I mean, it's, there are no words to describe this creature. I mean, maybe in all the books he reads, he could come up with one, but I cannot. And some of the like mashups and remixes of the Glob Glow Gab Galab's song are like nightmare fuel, but in the most hysterically funny, amazing way. It's pretty great. Nemo says, am I allowed to say you looked subpar cute right now? But you meant super cute, super cute. That is so sweet. Thank you, Nemo. You're probably gone because you're always doing like normal, like healthy, socially active, like good, productive, like sweet, well-meaning member of society things. So you're probably gone. But thank you, Nemo. That's very sweet. I tried really hard. This shirt, this is one of the few shirts that I think is flattering on my admittedly marshmallow-esque physique. It's super cute and flattering, and it emphasizes, like, I'm pretty pudgy, but my rib cage stayed teeny tiny, even when I gained weight when I got out of high school and wasn't so depressed that I was, like, starving to death because I couldn't make myself eat. I know this haircut is flattering on me somewhat, and when I do my winged eyeliner like this, I think it's cute. Like, I try to do a wing, but instead of it being like the whole way across my eyelid, I try to like taper it down to like halfway through my, like the halfway point in my eye, there's almost no wing. Like, I think that's flattering too on my eye shape. But I haven't done winged eyeliner in so long that now when I try and do it, do I have my eyeliner pen down here? I don't think I do. I think I took it upstairs after I did my makeup. Like, it's really hard because I used to do winged eyeliner like every day in high school and for years. And then recently at my job that I have right now, I've been like, I'll just like pat a little bit of eyeliner on and do a little bit of mascara, like to make myself look a little more presentable, but I don't like obsess over doing the whole face. And I like so fast, I forgot how to do winged eyeliner. So it's like I'm having to reteach myself. But thank you. That's very sweet. Oh, whoa, my chat jumped. Thanks. Very cool. Also, I'm not up to date on drama. Well, I mean, you're not missing much. Like, it's interesting, but it's also all very silly stuff that, like, realistically should not concern all of us. Gotta head out already. Vagante said, hope you have a great night. Thank you. I love you wherever you're at in the world. I hope you're having a good night, too. Assassin said, I use a Wacom in 205 with Photoshop. Cool, okay. I know Wacom is like one of the titans of the like graphic designer, digital artist world as far as the software, well, mostly hardware they produce. At Peace many moons ago said, I tried a Gen 3 iPad Pro with Procreate and it was so awesome. See, I don't know what generation of iPad Pro it is now, but it's either the most recent generation or like the next most recent generation that I am getting like a refurbished one of. So, like, it's not from Apple obviously itself, but it is a seller where like we looked at the reviews and there are a couple people whose iPads either didn't turn on or they held a charge for like 21 hours or something, and then all of a sudden would not hold a charge, like if they were unplugged or even if they were plugged in. So there is a small chance that this iPad will be so broken that we can't use it, and then I will just return it, which is very possible, you know, and hopefully it will work. I'm really, really excited, although not optimistic, considering all the trouble I've had in the past trying to be able to draw digitally. When I raise my eyebrows, my bangs come down and I can see like the spidery like epicenter of where they're growing out, and it, whoa. I'm hoping it'll work well. Duh. I'm sorry. Assassin said, I tape a sheet of paper over it and use a felt tip on the stylus for the pencil feel. How cool. That's really smart. I mean, maybe that's obvious, but to me it isn't. So that's really cool. I will look into that because I know, like, you can buy screen covers too, and I know some of them are expensive. One of the things I looked into, my stupid freaking brain is broken, y'all. This is all I had. I am such a lightweight, dude. You'd not believe. I was looking at the Wacom something something when I was still looking into tablets. Why am I drooling? I'm probably just going to expire. When I was still looking into tablets that are just a glorified touchscreen monitor that you have to have plugged into a computer. And the Wacom one that you can buy like with the paper covering, I looked into as well. But I know that one, because the like cover of the like pad of the tablet mimics the texture of paper, it wears like the nibs of the styluses down super fast. And I thought that was weird, you know, that Wacom would like build in a feature where you have to buy like replacement stylus parts constantly because the stylus nibs go dull like a pencil. So I know that can cause some trouble, like when companies like do too well at simulating paper texture. But I don't know. I don't think I'll have a problem actually adjusting to like just a smooth glass screen. I will have to see. It might be hard for me, but I don't think like the like minimal friction type screen will bother me too much. I'm sorry, VGC. Please read my chats, por favor, and pretty heart emojis. I apologize, dude. Hi, Ryan Lynn. Yes, awake for live stream. Love you, Chat-Mort. Thank you. That's so sweet. I love you too. Hi, Magog. Yay! Someone uttered strange magic words and I showed up. Yeah, the words to summon the eternal lord of hell, perhaps. Not you, the glob glow gab glab. You're not being productive at all. Really? Huh. And thank you for the adorable emoji, Cheesy. That's so cute. Now that's something that, like, that's just how Google translates it, right? That's like a phone emoji, I believe, probably. Because, like, I don't mean to type emoji thingies in chat. Like, when I type a smiley face in chat, I just want it to be closed parenthesis. Or, like, :3. Like, I like the really doofy, almost antagonistic, sort of, like somehow, like, subtly threatening seeming emojis that are just like the characters you typed. I don't like when it translates it into something cute. So I've just stopped, like, typing smiley faces in chat. Because I want them to be that weird, like, weirdly almost threatening, like, maniacal, like, just :3. You know, I don't want people to be comfortable with the fact that they think they've correctly interpreted my intentions behind the emoji. I want it to unnerve people. Why? I don't know why. What's going on? My freaking chat jumped again. Piece of garbage. Kind of like how Cell Autica went after Napster despite their album sales demonstrably increased? Oh. I never liked Metallica. I know, like, nothing about Metallica. I know nothing about anything. Like, older music, I don't know. Because my parents didn't listen to it much. And if they did, they never listened to it around me. Like, the only CD I got to listen to when I was little was Enya's Watermark. Which is still one of my favorite albums of all time. But, like, I was, like, super isolated. I listened to almost no music. I don't know much of the music that was around, like, right when I was born or before. I don't know, like, anything about Metallica. Like, I didn't even know that Freddie Mercury was part of Queen until I watched the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. Like, that was me learning everything for the first time. Like, for me, I didn't know that he went off on his own, so I was like, I hope nobody spoils whether he, like, splits with them and goes off on his own or not. I hope nobody, like, spoils whether he died of AIDS or not. And I will never get over the fact that they named the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, and they didn't even play the entirety of Bohemian Rhapsody in the movie. So I've still never heard Bohemian Rhapsody. The parts I've heard I don't understand. It just seems like a really wacky, kind of stressful medley. Like, I'm someone who, one of my favorite bands is Coheed and Cambria, and almost all their songs are these incredibly elaborate, gorgeous medleys. So, like, it's one of those things like when you've watched horror movies that came out in the 2000s your whole life, and then you go back and watch The Exorcist, you're like, I don't get it. There's nothing interesting about this. Because if you're not there when the piece of art that pioneers a whole, like, genre of art comes out, when you see all of the, like, derivative things that were inspired by it and are trying to emulate it later, that do it in a more, like, generation, like, friendly way, like, it doesn't resonate with you when you see the old stuff that, like, paved the way for that was groundbreaking, which is sad. I always expect people, like, if I dare to say that Bohemian Rhapsody just sounds like a really bad, like, Coheed and Cambria song because they do, like, the whole insanely epic medley thing so much better. Like, I expect people to be so angry that they, like, spontaneously die of heart attacks, but nobody has yet. Probably because I've never said that out loud before, because I'm scared people are going to lose their shit when they find out I've never heard a Queen song the whole way through. Except maybe Guitar Hero when I was younger. I don't know. Sorry. Did I read your message? Christians are bad with copyright. Yeah. I can't do it. I'm wearing this eyeliner. This eyeliner, it's by this brand called Soap and Glory. Literally none of you care. I think there may be like 0.75 women who watch my content. But, like, it was $14 freaking, okay? It was an investment because it's plumping lip gloss, and I have little crescent moon, like, negative stereotype of a white girl lips. This stuff, it feels like you went and, like, stuck your lips in a wasp nest and then went, like, it's real plumping, but it also feels like anaphylaxis in my face. Just in my lips. It's good. But I can't. Whoa! Rippin' Pepperoni's headphone users. I can do it after all. Look at that. Everything about you is flattering, except the anime. Hey! You, sir, came on my channel and we talked about the BNHA movie for like 2 hours. Friend. I got my Wacom near new on eBay for a fraction of the cost. Really? See, I always forget about eBay. Unless I'm like, I swear, like, the only things I've ever bought on eBay were like knockoff Naruto merchandise, which is an oddly specific, it's just oddly specific. Don't drink and stream. I know, it's probably very ill-advised. My Wacom cost $5,000. Oh my god. I know, they're so expensive. 27-inch Cintiq. Really? Interesting. My problem is that, like, I feel like I didn't want to go with too big of a tablet. Like, anything that's too big, I know, like, graphic designers use these, like, gargantuan-ass screens. I'm trying to, like, get in the frame here. Are my armpits shaved? Yes, they are. Like, if it's too big, I think it'll be unwieldy and I won't be able to use it. Because I want something I can, like, relax and use, like, anywhere in the house. I want to be able to take it to work. I want to take it to, like, families' houses if I'm visiting and stuff. And I feel like if something's smaller, like the smaller tablets, like, notebooks I draw in, it'll be better. So, like, I went with a, like, 12-inch something refurbished iPad Pro. Because if the tablet is too big, it's going to defeat the purpose of being mobile for me. So it's interesting to me when people, like, go with the big ones. $5,000. My god. Yeah, I was looking at I don't know if you were here for that, Magog, but the Wacom, like, mobile studio companion thing, That's like their newest one, like their like standalone like processor included tablet thing. It's like $1,800 at the cheapest. And I'm like, where I am in my life with my finances, you know, like prioritizing saving up a little bit of money for the first time in my life, and paying off my college loans, like I cannot justify buying an $1,800+ tablet. Especially since I have never had much success like getting commissions and doing art commissions. Like this one that I bought, which wasn't super cheap, it wasn't obscenely pricey, but it's like most of my tax return. That doesn't tell you much because you don't know how much I make. But like I still feel like it's going to take me a year to like earn enough money to have justified buying it, because I just, with my commissions, I've always struggled to get any. And many of the ones I've done, like when I've done traditional art commissions for my friends, one I did for this, like, he's a really cool dude. He's like the dankest, like, meme meister of all time. He's hilarious. I met him when he came to Anime Club when I was vice president in the college's Anime Club. This guy commissioned me to draw him as, like, a League of Legends character person, like, to make one up. Took months drawing it. Came out really good. And he never paid me. He just ghosted me. He has never acknowledged me since. And he's this, like, gargantuan, beefy dude. And I'm this, like, little scrawny girl. I'm like, okay. At least I got a cool picture out of this experience. I had a friend. I drew, I need to find it. It's in one of these moving boxes still. I drew Daenerys. One of the best drawings I've ever done. And my friend never paid me for it. It was $50. It was gorgeous. It is gorgeous. It's the best thing I've ever drawn, probably. You know, like, things like that. Or, like, I've had people who I'm like, sure, I'll design a tattoo for you, but I'd like you to pay me a little bit. So, like, this one lady, like, one of my best friend's coworkers was like, I need a tattoo. I want it to be a tree. I want there to be room on the tree for each of my, like, dead children's names or some ridiculous thing like that. And I'm like, okay. I drew a tree, and I'm like, do you like this? What do you want tweaked? I drew it, and I was like, here you go. And she's like, cool, thanks. So this lady has my drawing tattooed on her body. Probably several people do, but I've got such a bad memory that, like, there could be, like, half a dozen people who I've drawn, like, designed tattoos for, and I wouldn't know. I don't remember. Because, like, my memory is, like, unbelievably bad, like, to where nobody would believe me. People would be like, you're just trying to get attention in some weird way if I tried to impart how bad my memory is. But then, like, she never got back to me. I'm like, well, I didn't contractually, like, obligate her to pay me, you know, ahead of time of me doing this. So I'm the one in the wrong here. And then she came back to me 2 months later and was like, can you design another tattoo for me? So it's like, I've never had much luck, and the common thread here may be that I'm not assertive whatsoever, but I'm reluctant to, like, pour that much money into something that I don't ever see being a substantial or even, like, supplemental form of income, you know. 3, yes. Emoji subterfuge, yes. Music, Vangelis Blade Runner. I love, like, the Blade Runner soundtrack type music. It is amazing to me. And I almost feel like it wouldn't fit in the Blade Runner movies, but some of the visuals and the, like, locations and stories in Coheed's songs, it's like Blade Runner-esque, like the sort of narratives they create in the characters. Collab when? I don't know, man. Whatever. Comics versus anime. I would hate that so much because, you know, I cannot stand, like, Western comics. And it's not their fault. I'm stubborn. I don't care for them. I grew up, like, as a small child, like, when I should have been in bed watching, like, Samurai Jack, and then, like, Justice League would be on, and I would watch it, and I was like, this is the most boring thing ever. All these characters are insufferable. Because an elementary schooler is not going to enjoy, like, the animated Justice League show. Like, I can't do it. And it's not for any logical reason. It's just what my preference is because I grew up with anime, you know? I don't know. I don't want to, like, wrestle with you and fight with you, VGC, about that. But is he a level 6 edgelord? Who? The Mimi dude? I don't know. But it was so funny because, like, all of Anime Club, the years before I was nominated as vice president, because I was one of the only people not graduating, even though I was terrified and did not want to have anybody pay attention to me, everybody looked the way you would expect Anime Club people to look, you know? And then this freaking ginormous tan blonde beefy dude, this super cute guy with a great jawline, just this like bodybuilder like dude, he's been in bodybuilding competitions, he and his wife, just shows up. He's just so happy. He loves all the same anime the rest of us like. And that was the first meeting. And, you know, then at the end of the meeting, he's like, I'll bring my waifu next time. Brings an even tanner, beefier dude the next time. This guy, like the sweetest guy in the world, who he brought with him. Just an amazing, like genuinely good, decent guy. But it's like these two bodybuilders were an Anime Club that year, and it was just really funny. I don't know if he was a level 6 edgelord. Like, some of the dank memes he posted are probably why I don't see him on Facebook anymore. He probably got kicked off. Jim Carrey has the worst abortion take. I mean, I haven't heard it. I don't want to. I have always thought Jim Carrey was insufferable. I've always hated him. So it doesn't surprise me. Just the, like, totally bizarre, tone-deaf, delusional, like, unflattering caricatures of, is it Sarah Sanders, the press secretary for the White House? Just the fact that he's, like, all smug and self-righteous and thinks he's, like, all hip and relevant and funny and, like, edgy by drawing these terrible caricatures of somebody who's just parroting, like, what the president's administration is doing as her job. He's just an insufferable, awful, desperate, uninteresting, untalented man. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you probably grew up with Jim Carrey movies, but I could not like him less. I could not, you know? Like, if he did something legitimately evil, I would probably like him more, because at least he would have had an impact on, like, the trajectory of mankind and how the world unfolded. Oh, I got margarita at my nostril. Mayday. Oh. Not good. Not good, I'm telling you. Not good. Oh, he screwed you over. He did. It was really douchey. Yeah. Like, I sent it to him. It was not phenomenal, but it was the only, like, I don't draw beefy dudes. I'm not into beefy dudes. I never have been. I'm more into, like, chubby guys than beefy guys. Like, if my fiance got kind of jacked up, I would be attracted to him because I love him. You know, I'm like the like super leftist kids who change genders like legging colors. Like, they would call me demisexual. I have to be emotionally attracted to someone before I become, like, physically or sexually attracted to them. Which is why the only beefy dudes I'm into are, like, Endeavor from My Hero Academia and freaking, like, Kisame, and this is just getting worse and worse. Is there anybody in anime who I like that people aren't going to be worried about my psychological health for liking? Nope. Can't think of a soul. Not a one. I was going to mention someone from Gaunt's, but no, that's not helpful at all. It's not helping my case. Oh boy. It ain't heavy. It's your brother. Now I want to be in a boy band with Magog called 3. That would be amazing. I used to Anime Club. See Jim's Twitter. Jim Medicare Jim, I assume. Anime Club is the first single for 3. I know, because of that Anime Club video, which is still it's a freaking piece of art, and it will go down in history as one of my favorite things of all time, like that Anime Club promo that's on YouTube. Like, Anime Club has gotten even more of a stigma due to that video, you know? And when people are like, oh, how did you meet your fiance? And I'm like, he was an advisor in Anime Club the first year I went to college. They're like, oh. Chubby guys are gross. No, you're wrong. Chubby guys, I mean, everybody's different, obviously. But I think, like, my default, like, I'm always going to find somebody overweight more attractive than somebody who's, like, disgusting and beefy and looks like they're covered in tumors. Like, that's just me. That's just me. If it wasn't for bodybuilding, I would not be alive. Because my mom lifted so much weight that she had an aneurysm, and they thought her birth control might make her aneurysm kill her. So she had to stop taking it. And that's where I came from. So if it was not for bodybuilding, which I could not be less interested in or enthused about, I would not be here. Which is just the sick, twisted way life works. If I were in a band, it would be called Tower of Power. It's a euphemism. Yeah. Seems legit. That is the Special Forces Ranger and Airborne tab all stacked on the sleeve in the Army. The Tower of Power. I watched an anime once, the one with giant-breasted high school girls. Yeah, that's... Which one? Yeah, That's another thing. Like, I don't know. One of the reasons I get so simultaneously amused and irked when people are like, anime objectifies women. It epitomizes the male gaze. It turns women into these objectified, hypersexualized caricatures. It's just toxic masculinity. I'm like, so in order to pretend that only men are sexually attracted to women and like curvy women, you have to pretend that no females are attracted to other females, which, I mean, I'm not like a super, like, I'm not like a grand wizard or fucking cyclops of social justice, so I don't know. But I almost feel like pretending that bisexual and gay women don't exist kind of contradicts some of your, like, stated goals a little bit. But I get that you have to totally throw a bunch of the minorities under the bus that you advocate for and pretend to care about, because it's more important to push the narrative that all men are disgusting creeps than it is to actually try to, what is it they do, like validate or uplift or encourage people of like sexual minorities. But I too have seen the anime with the big-breasted high school girls, and I liked it. Thank God for bodybuilding, because they gave us Michelle. I guess. Thanks, man. The one with zombies or the one with swords. Goblin Slayer was cool, though. Goblin Slayer is recent, isn't it? That's the one that everybody's all distraught about because there's, like, really dark subject matter in it. So not the one with the paranormal activity, then. You a grand wizard of liking women? See, I don't know, because as much as I like making edgy jokes that reference the KKK, like, rankings, I don't know much about it. But I assume that the grand wizard, anybody grand, is probably up pretty high. And I, like, at least in, like, leftist terms, I would not be very high ranking as far as WLW, women who love women or whatever. I've already divulged so much information that you could never want to know that I might as well just go the extra, mile here. But I've never been like intimate with a woman. I've only ever like dated one woman, and it was very briefly because our lifestyles were so different that it didn't work out. Also, I was young enough that I was forced to go into counseling at the time, and was expected to be like cured of liking boobies by a counselor, which I'm sorry, have you seen boobies? It's not going to work. The counselor also had to proceed to tell the person who forced me into counseling, you can't like fix gay. You can't gay somebody. It doesn't work, you know? Like, therapy won't make someone stop being attracted to who they're attracted to. Like, they had to deliberately say that to the person who forced me into therapy. And, you know, it wasn't a good time. But I'm like, what do they call it? I'm like heterosexual passing, since I am in a heterosexual relationship, a committed one that I don't plan to leave anytime soon. So I'm probably not like the grand wizard of liking women. I like them a lot, and every time I actually like break down the barrier my mind has created to protect my psyche and think back, I'm like, there was so much proof that I was into girls from a young age, like so much. And I was so terrified of it that I just overlooked it all. Or because the far left did try so hard and does try so hard to convince everybody, even if they like admire how aesthetically beautiful someone is, that you are sexually attracted to them and you are now a part of a minority. So please give me all your money and vote for me because you're a victim and everybody's out to like kill you and burn your house down and ruin your life because you are gay. It's not me being predatory because I'm terrifying you and gaslighting you into thinking everybody wants to kill you. It's really the other people. Also, please give me all of your money for my campaigns and please vote for me no matter what I advocate for in the long run. Like, because of all that stuff, you know, to an extent, it's completely reasonable for people to have pause, you know, when like a young person approaches them and is like, I think I'm gay, or I think I'm attracted to the same sex for XYZ reasons. Anime girls of consenting age are better than high school girls. Yes, perhaps. Nobody here has been intimate with a woman. That's so good. That may be a valid point. But you can make trans kids because virtue signal. Yeah. I mean, I know that like I have such a small platform that it's not going to do anybody any good for me to like recommend a channel. But that girl, Creepshow Art, she did a video on a sort of related note about like the whole drag kids phenomenon. And she herself, she considers herself to be pansexual, which is similar to bisexuality, you know, attracted to both genders. And she did a video talking about how parents forcing their kids to do drag, like for money in gay bars, there's nothing empowering or inclusive about that. That is outright child abuse. That is putting children in situations that you put yourself into almost explicitly and exclusively to be sexualized, and it's completely irresponsible of the parents. Like, that's why I love this girl so much, because like I've bought into this idea that, you know, 99% of people who are not straight or who are not white or whatever are these far leftists who will believe whatever the like far left rhetoric of the day is. And so to find somebody like her who is so fair and level-headed and who has such common sense about things like that and who hasn't like fallen prey to the fear-mongering and the identity politics garbage, it was just so heartening to me that like she's amazing. I love her videos, and just the way she talks is so funny. The way she expresses herself is so funny that I've just been binge watching her videos for a couple days now, and I've watched most of them in like 3 days. So I need to slow down, but it's heartening to find people like that who are not successfully like scammed into the like fear-mongering, divisive identity politics nonsense. Blair White and Theron pretty much keep me from being 70% hetero like I normally am. Yeah. Blair is, I don't really follow Blair anymore, but she is beautiful. And, you know, obviously, whoa, that's not quite right. Like, you never know with people how much of what they say they believe. There are always going to be people who are like Milo Yiannopoulos or Candace Owens who are just, that's too big, who are just saying stuff because they know there's a market for that and because they know they will be able to profit off of it. I think I think Candace Owens is just like Laura Loomer and Milo Yiannopoulos in that as soon as it stops being profitable for her to parrot conservative talking points, she will stop. I hope I'm wrong. Obviously, that's clearly just my perception, but like I don't know about some people. I just like bit a huge like flappy flap of my face off. I got a big like nasty dangler in my mouth now and it hurts and I hate it. Cool. Very nice. Thanks, Michelle. Very cool. This is a weird drawing. I think if I color it, it'll look better, but her head shape is peculiar. I'm just drawing to be doing something. And also because I'm really excited. Let's do that hair color. So you guys can't see the menu I've got pulled up because I did like the wrong kind of source or something in OBS. But, ow! I bit a flap off of my mouth. Stupid. But I'm picking a gradient of colors to use for her hair. Candace is the worst. Yeah, I agree. After her, I almost said dissenter. That is not her. The thing she did, the like bullying registry thing. I mean, it couldn't have been more transparent that she had a specific agenda in mind, and it's just sad that people don't understand that. Like, it's good to give people the benefit of the doubt, obviously. It's not good to immediately distrust everyone, you know? And just because something looks bad doesn't mean that that person had total, like, clairvoyant forethought. Maybe they did something really stupid, but, you know, Candace is one of those people where it's abundantly clear, in my opinion at least, that she's doing something that she knows there is a huge market for, just like Milo did. A gay man, you know, spreading conservative views. And if you listen to Milo's talks, I loved Milo's talks. I'm so itchy. My allergies are killing me. Like, even at his events, where he was being so, you know, edgy and hyperbolic and, what's the word? Inflammatory. I was thinking conciliatory, but that's not the word. Like, after he would do all his spiel with his, like, edgelord jokes, at the end of each of those, he would go back, he would renege on everything he said and say things like far more liberal than probably a lot of the people there. You know, after he was done with his jokes and everybody applauding and making fun of the couple, like, whining children who were protesting him because their feelings were hurt, and it hurt their stereotype of a gay person to have somebody, you know, express beliefs that didn't fit with their stereotype of how gay people are supposed to act based on their sexuality. Then he would go into things like, he would say things like, no, in all honesty, black women are one of the most oppressed and unfairly treated groups of people in this country, and in reality, white women are the group with the most privilege and things like that. So, like, once he was done saying the, like, inflammatory, controversial things he was known for and made his brand off of, he would renege on all of it when all the protesters had been chased off and all the hype had been justified and stuff, and everybody felt really good and smug about having the things they believed parroted back to them. You know, when he got into the serious part of his talks, he reneged on all of it. Stop. I'm not trying to save this. I'm trying to undo something. So, you know, I think Candace is the same way. Definitely. I prefer people like Tommy Lauren who will at least go against base if she believes in something even though she's not able to articulate why. Yeah, have you tried any other editing software for your art? I have tried some. Obviously, Paint is like the bottom of the barrel. It's almost kind of like a joke. It's kind of memey, and that's why I use it. Part of that's also just because, like, Any expectations you have for my art to be good go away when you see that I'm drawing in Microsoft Paint. So that gives me some leeway as far as like my drawings can be pretty bad and people will be like, yeah, I didn't expect anything different. But I've used free software. Like there's something called Artweaver I use sometimes. I have used GIMP a little bit, yes. Like I know how to work with layers and more complex things. But as far as digital art, I actually used, I think it was called Picnic. It was the like online software that Picasa published. And Picnic was really cool because I don't think it allowed you to work in layers. It might have, but it allowed you to manipulate the opacity of the brushes you used. So I would just use Picnic because it was so simple and it wasn't like for that purpose. So it wasn't like so complex that it intimidated me. I would use Picnic. I would upload my traditional art. I would upload, this is not going well, my traditional art to Picnic. And then I would like use different opacities of, whoops, this is not going well at all. I would use different opacities of different colors to shade all of my digital art, which came out gorgeously once I, figured out what I was doing, got the hang of it. And then you could use these really cool like stickers and these different borders and things to, like, I tried to make my art look like these little framed, like stylistic compositions, and Picnic allowed me to do that because it was not, stop, I don't want that. It was not like super intimidating. So I felt less intimidating using it. That's almost too close of a color, maybe. No, I don't know. You know what? It's fine. Whatever. So, I mean, I have used other art software. I've utilized like different opacities and different like brush textures and things like that. Excuse me, I'm itchy. To digitally color my art. Stop! Sorry, I'm yelling at my computer when I'm doing the bad, which is kind of on brand for me, I must say. I'm doing this badly on purpose. That's my excuse. I just want to be doing something, so I'm doing this. Not well. That's really bad. Okay, it's not horrible. Have any of you guys watched Gantz? Gantz is like, oh my god. Like, the Gantz anime ends in a weird way, like way sooner than the manga ends. But it's so unbearably dark and horrific and depressing. Like, if you want to know my outlook on humanity, watch Gantz. Side note, don't watch Gantz. But, like, the manga goes on way longer, and my fiance was trying to tell me, like, you have to read the manga because it resolves everything better. And I was like, I can't. I need to prioritize my mental health, and this is so unbearably depressing that I can't do it. So don't watch Gantz, please. It's insane. It's memorable, but man, oh man, just don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. MS Paint is legit. I kind of want to buy you some editing software and commission you to do something. That's really sweet. I don't know about that yet. Like, when I get my, my iPad, I may consider that. And I think using this platform, I might be able to get some more commissions from people. And because I'm not just this like pushover super shy girl, because I've kind of got a little bit of a following here, and all you guys you like me at least a little bit, or at least you like watching me make a fool of myself, and thus you are at least arguably mildly on my side. I kind of feel like I might be able to actually hold people accountable and be taken more seriously if I do some commissions, you know? I don't know what I'm doing exactly. I'm just here. I put this color in my color palette thing, but I'm just going to put it over there so I can like use the eyedropper tool to get it back later. But now I'm going to color her skin, and I'm not going to do this whole drawing tonight, you guys. I will try to remember to post this perhaps on Twitter when I'm done with it. But that's an interesting skin color for her. That might look really good with her hair. But I'm getting real sleepy, and when I get sleepy, I tend to not make much sense, or I like blurt out things that I shouldn't. Like, lol. I don't know why this occurred to me, but my social security, you guys will be delighted to know, is, you know, I don't know, stuff like that. Not stuff like that. That's insane and absurd. Now, which color should I start with? I will start with this color. That's a good skin color for her. I've seen some redheads, like obviously redheads are some of the people who are the most like vulnerable to like skin cancer, I think. I think that well, I don't know about that. I know the fairest people, the people who are the most at risk of getting skin cancer, are brown-haired, blue-eyed people. Do any of you guys think that Peter Dinklage looks like a tiny Hugh Laurie? Was that related? Yeah, a little bit. But for some reason, like, that coloring is very abnormal. Like, typically, dark hair is supposed to correlate with or to dark eyes. So for some reason, when people have brown hair and blue eyes, something about the complexion that is associated with, or like that comes along in the same package of like that phenotype, which is just the genes that are expressed, that is what makes people the most vulnerable to damaging effects of sunlight. Skin cancer is bad. Wear your sunscreen. Why? This is silly, but why do people call sunscreen SPF now? Like all the beauty gurus, nobody calls sunscreen sunscreen or even sun protectant. Like all of a sudden, like this weird thing that people do, in my perception, to just like be really hip and fit in, like to really feel like you're better than everyone else, you have to adopt some like strange new way of conveying something. And you have to like pretend that the actual prior established term for that thing never existed. And just talk like everybody should know what you're talking about. Like just out of nowhere, just start saying SPF instead of sunscreen. And just don't bat an eyelash. Don't imply to anyone that there might be other, you know, more commonly used words for those things. It's SPF, and it's always been SPF. Like, don't worry, you guys. I got a tan today, but I was wearing my SPF. Like, are you okay? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Is that really nasty? I'm very vindictive, and I know that's part of the reason why nobody likes me. But I like me. No, I don't, and you all know it. Yay! This is a good video. This video makes everyone happy. Somebody in my last stream said, navel gazing is depressive, and I had to look up navel gazing, but upon doing so, I was like, you're right. So, I don't mean to bring you guys down. Sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. That's like saying I am a bipedal mammal. I don't know why I thought it was necessary to mention that here. With the like flat like chest part, I will make light fall there. This is fun. I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun. If not, what's wrong with you? Add to custom colors. Okay. Like the second watch through of Game of Thrones, it's occurred to me that Peter Dinklage reminds me a lot of Hugh Laurie. Like those really big soulful eyes remind me of Hugh Laurie. And the problem is, like, sorry, I'm kicking my desk and stuff. I will never be able to watch Game of Thrones again. How horrifically these last, like, season and a half or 2 seasons have been executed, like, have ruined it for me. This is not something where, even though the ending wasn't great, I can still, like, go back and enjoy it. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed my second watch through of Game of Thrones, because the first time I didn't know what was going to happen, so I was really stressed out. The second time through, I knew who was going to die. I knew what was going to happen. So it was like I was free to just enjoy it and enjoy the cinematography and the character development. You know, so like my second watch through of Game of Thrones was so much more fun because I wasn't like sick with worry every episode because I knew what was going to happen. But just the way these last couple episodes are and have been, like, because I know that the characters suddenly stop being themselves and nothing makes sense at the end, I will never be able to watch Game of Thrones again. You know, why did I bring that up? Because before season 8 came out, Tyrion Lannister is one of the most amazing characters of all time. Like, he should be up there with, like, Walter White, the Count from The Count of Monte Cristo, characters like that. Like, Tyrion Lannister is like a mankind defining, like, child of literature. And I truly believed that, like, Peter Dinklage was born to play Tyrion Lannister. Like, just the parts in the earlier seasons, like when he was on trial and stuff, like, I truly believed. I don't now because I don't know what happened. You know, I mean, it's obviously not the actor's fault. And all I can say is I really, really hope how badly the show ended and how bizarrely the characters have started acting. I just hope that doesn't hurt any of the actors' careers. I hope they all can get out of this unscathed, and I hope people who do casting can see past that and recognize that it's not their fault and they did the best they could with what they were given. But, like, I truly believed, like, Peter Dinklage was born to play Tyrion Lannister. He was, you know. What did that have to do with anything? I have the box set of Gaunts. Do you really? Have you ever watched the dub? Because the English dub of Gaunts is, like, the funniest thing I've ever seen because it's so bad. Like, it is like mind-bogglingly bad. Where the, you know, the sub of Gaunts is very good. It's just, like, horrifically nightmarishly dark. It's like the way I think about humanity, like the thing that I fight and fight and fight to not think about humanity, is how humanity is portrayed in Gaunts. Just make sure that you get that money and you don't get paid with exposure. Well, thank you, VGC. I will work on that. I need to start advocating for myself more, you know. I'll hire you to draw me an avatar if you want. That's awesome, Jamesy. That's really sweet. I will let you guys know. It'll probably be like a month after I get my tablet and start using it. Like, I want to figure out what software I like. I want to make sure I have the right software, and I want to be able to do a couple, like, full pieces digitally and put them out for you guys to see, and to be able to make sure that I'm good enough at it to where I feel like I have a right to ask for money. And then I will let you guys know when I'm taking commissions, and I would be honored to you know, like, create some art for you guys. You guys aren't second graders, right? You guys aren't going to be like, I thought it was a girl. Why does she have an Adam's apple? Google it. Everyone has an Adam's apple. Like, I have an Adam's apple, and that's why I've always drawn girls with one. See, there, it did a bloop. It went like that. I was always, like, underweight because I was so depressed until I got out of high school. Now I'm a little overweight, but at least my boobs are bigger. Sorry, that's very silly, and you don't need to hear that. But girls have Adam's apples. Like, mine was always very visible. 'Cause I was skinny. Like, they just don't grow bigger with puberty, you know, if you've got a normal balance of female hormones. And I didn't exactly. I actually always had low testosterone. Like, women have testosterone and some androgen. They just don't have as much as men. And actually, that has changed, and now I produce too much androgen, which caused a health problem that made me think for several weeks here, actually several months here, I thought I had cancer and was dying. But I was just dumb. My body was just not working, which is always a relief, because that's something like I already knew, you know. I was like, why? I'm probably dying, but I wasn't. Yay. It's a good way to, like, just really casually drop that little piece of information there that I, you know, without saying anything to you guys, thought I was literally, like, probably in stage 4 cancer. Fun. It's the gingers. Have you seen Tiptoes? Peter Dinklage is in it. No, but I've heard of it. The first thing I ever saw Peter Dinklage in was Death at a Funeral. Not the disgusting, like, condescending Americanized version. Like, the real Death at a Funeral he was in. That was the first thing I ever saw him in. And it, like, a lot of people don't get British humor, but Death at a Funeral is and will forever be one of my favorite movies of all time. It is. Stop! I'm not saving something. Death at a Funeral is, it will just always be one of my favorite movies. It's really good. How can I... Probably just like this, I guess. Oh, I didn't undo enough. I have a legit weakness for blondes and gingers. I think blondes are pretty. I think red hair is gorgeous. Like, if somebody has red hair, I, like, by default think they're much cuter. And I don't dislike brunettes. Like, I have this weird thing. I think all women have, like, this weird, illogical, like, feeling of camaraderie with people who have the same hair as them for some reason. And, like, I was always called a dumb blonde as a kid. Like, hello? Like, I'm not gonna brag, but I am, you know, for anybody to call me dumb, like, I don't... Okay. Clearly you didn't see the faces of the people when I did my kindergarten testing, but whatever, it's totally irrelevant to everyone's existences. But, like, for the longest time, I resented brunettes, as silly as that sounds, because they always were so cruel to me and bullied me and called me a dumb blonde. Like, are you jealous that my hair is not the color of feces? But I never said that, because I was like, you need to not get in huge trouble, and you need to not alienate the, like, 4 people who like you. And also, hair color is totally arbitrary and has no bearing on whether people are nice or not, and you know that. But, like, I've always been more physically attracted to people with dark hair, or especially red hair. I think they're beautiful. Assassin said, you will need a consult fee along with 2 minor changes, 1 minor change before additional fees, as well as a kill fee if it gets canceled. That is a retainer to start. That's really smart. Like, I did DeviantArt commissions, but, like, you had to negotiate to get them to even pay you, like, the equivalent of 5 cents for a picture. And I always asked for, like, half of that up front, and that didn't... If you know anything about DeviantArt, it's like the Wild West, but, like, if it was the Wild West, you would feel safer. Like, I had to negotiate with middle schoolers to get them to pay me, like, 5 cents for a drawing. That took me hours. But I did, my point in saying all that is I did kind of attempt to implement that. Like, I want half of my points up front. And I ended up, like, I have a balance of, like, 1,000 DeviantArt points now, which is not good. It's not a lot. And, you know, realistically, I, like, the kind of art that I do where people are like, I'll pay you, like, $5. Like, if professionally, people charge like hundreds of dollars for that kind of stuff. So I know I could ask for more, and I need to not oversell myself and seem cocky and ridiculous, but I also need to stick up for myself. And it's a good thing to remember that kind of contractual stuff is just like run of the mill. It's nothing personal. And you just kind of have to do it to protect yourself. SPF sun protection factor. Yeah. SPF is a white person thing. Is it? Because, yeah, like it's mostly makeup artists I see who are like, SPF. This foundation has SPF in it. Yes, I got a balm-ass tan or whatever the kids are calling it these days. But don't worry, I was wearing SPF today. Like, I watch Black and like Latina beauty gurus or makeup artists, and I don't think they call it SPF. I think they're like real live human beings, like normal people, and they're like, yeah, this has a little bit of sunscreen in it, so it's not as good as sunscreen, but it's a factor if you're gonna buy this makeup. Maybe it is a white person thing. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Wait, this is news to me. I never noticed. Red hair is super cute and red is my favorite color. Well, there you go. Hair color over skin color. I agree. Like, I don't know. Like, I've never really been attracted to anybody based on their skin color. I think the thing is, and people might be like, that's racist, or, oh, that's not true. But I think in general, Black people are more attractive than white people. Like, because Black features, obviously there's a huge variety of bone structures and facial features that Black people can have, but I think there's a bigger variety and a bigger like amount of extremes that white people can have. So like white people, there's a whole unbelievable range of different ways white people can look, and a lot of them, not to be mean, but are not good. Like, I would say a far higher percentage of Black people are attractive than white people, you know? And I just think, I think the facial features of, I don't know, like, there are some very attractive white people, obviously, but because there's such a massive variety of ways that, like, Caucasian-looking people can look, like, you can't guarantee or, like, bet on the fact that any given white person is going to be attractive, at least not in my opinion. I don't know. I think like big eyes are super attractive, but I think a whole variety of different people are attractive. It's not about like a checklist of, oh, they have my favorite eye color, or, oh, I like the fact that their top lip is like fuller than their bottom lip, or they have this specific nose shape. Like, for me, it's the whole composition. Like, a certain feature that is a factor of somebody's face who is gorgeous, like that same feature put on somebody else's face would not look right. It's like your features have to be harmonious. Like, people can be beautiful and look completely different to me. I don't know. It's hard for me to articulate what I'm attracted to because it's more personality. I don't know. I'm weird. But redheads are cute. A lot. Like, very much so. Let's see. Online commissions should be posted rates with 50% fee. Money, not DA points via wire transfer. Yeah, that's very true. The DeviantArt thing was ridiculous. Look up what is on DA as competitive rates. Well, thank you. I'll do that. I need to use some of those things as references when I start out. I can't date Black people because of their hair. I hate curly hair, and nappy hair is 6 million times worse. Your hair is like the perfect hair type I like. I'm not racist, just petty, lol. Well, thank you. That's sweet. No, that's totally fair. Like, you have every right to be attracted to what you're attracted to and not attracted to what you're not attracted to, and that doesn't make you racist. There are Black people with, like, smooth hair like mine, and there are some white people who have, like, afro-like hair, too. And there's nothing wrong with not being attracted to what you're not attracted to, I don't know if there are any hairstyles that I'm less attracted to than others, except maybe like Merida type hair. from Brave. Like, that type of hair I don't find to be very attractive. Like, if I'm trying really hard to think of something, but in general, I don't have any preferences in regard to hair. I don't really like guys who like shave their heads. Like, it's not the end of the world for me, because everybody looks good with different hairstyles and different just like styling and cosmetic things, but I don't know. I mean, like, mullets aren't good. Like, if you look like Jackknife, I'm probably not going to be into you. But I don't know. I gotta rewatch Super Jail. It's been too long. I have made like 2 whole people in my life watch Super Jail, and neither of them have forgiven me for it. Yeah. I'm a mixed race supremacist when it comes to being attractive. Nappy is a microaggression. Yeah, I think that mixed race people in general are absolutely gorgeous, and I think it's because like the kind of glowy skin color that people tend to have when they're mixed race, like particularly if they're like half or at least part Caucasian and part black, it's just gorgeous, like that kind of ethereal glow that people have. And obviously you can have a white parent and a black parent, and there are a whole variety of different ways that can express itself in your phenotype. There's a train outside, and it's been like honking its horn nonstop for like a minute and a half, and it's just like this one very tranquil note that kind of sounds like meditation music. I think I think I might be a little bit sleepy. It's pretty. But you know what I've noticed? I think like there's a thing that people talk about called colorism, and I always kind of poo-pooed it and thought that's very silly. But somebody I went to school with who is black and is a mother of three or four children, kind of described it to me as well, and I gave it more credence because she described it, like colorism being that even like just among black people exclusively, black people are more likely to be favorable and sympathetic toward lighter skinned black people, and actually supposedly discriminate against darker skinned black people. Like, this woman had a daughter who was lighter skinned and more conventionally beautiful, and she had a younger daughter who was very dark, and I thought her younger daughter was like, she looked like a pixie. She looked like an elf or something. She was so gorgeous. I didn't understand what people were saying about her like older daughter being attractive more. But you know, like even among black people, supposedly, the lighter skinned black people are treated better, are just looked at more favorably. There's just more of like a subconscious bias toward those people. And among like Caucasian people, or just light skinned people, probably Caucasian people, it's safe to say, like there's a bias against pale people. And I mean, I'm hoping it's kind of coming out of that. Like, you see all these beauty companies catering to a whole range of like skin tones with makeup products. Like, you'll see very, very dark girls and very incredibly pale girls as well in these like advertising campaigns and stuff. But in general, I think Caucasians look down on pale people, and you know, like by default, they find extremely dark, tan people to be much more attractive. And it's funny to me that like the colorism phenomenon, like among all races, like the kind of, is it called mulatto? Is that like even the correct term? Is that something that I can say, or is that like somehow offensive? Like the mixed race kind of like middle of the road skin tone seems to be what all races are more like biased in favor of. So it's like there's almost this subconscious thing in humanity where we find people who are the mix of all of us, or who look like the mix of all of us, to be the most attractive. Where it's like, you know, people always argue, like, if white people don't just breed with white people, we're gonna lose the white race and we're all gonna be mixed race and the white people are gonna be gone. Why does that matter? Skin color should not be relevant to anybody, but like, if that is the case, and I don't think it ever will be, just due to like regional stuff, like, I don't think before the world ends, Scotland is going to like be all bred into mixed race people, and like all of the like certain specific parts of Africa are going to be like bred into mixed race people too, you know? But it's like, if that were the case, if it was true that eventually we're all going to interbreed and there aren't going to be these extreme ends of the spectrum as far as skin color, like, it's almost like we're biased toward that future, people who look like that future of us all, you know, combining and not being like super separated by skin color anymore. It's weird. Does that make sense? Probably not. Bob Ross knew how to rock an afro. 2 of my IRL friends got bangs and their attractiveness increased by 3 points. I think most everybody looks good with bangs. I think Bryce Dallas Howard is really cute, and she has bangs, and she's pretty. And everybody hates these movies, but like, The Village was one of the first movies I saw her in, and that's a phenomenal movie, and she is good in that. And my favorite movie of all time is Lady in the Water, which is like M. Night Shyamalan's least popular movie. And she was the main character thing in Lady in the Water. And that is like forever one of my favorite movies. It is an incredible movie. I loved that movie so much. But anyway, Bryce Dallas Howard has bangs and she's very pretty. So there. Take that, libtards. I don't know what I'm talking about. I have no idea. I really am going to have to go soon, you guys. I'm really sleepy and I'm losing my voice because I've been talking all day. I'm so sleepy that I can't focus on talking and drawing at once. I always like the way that eyes come out when I just let my hand draw on its own. It's like something really strange that I kind of tried to like temper and stop. But when I just let myself draw eyes the way like my body wants me to draw eyes, it comes out beautiful. So it's like, it's one of those things where I need to let my like subconscious just do its thing. You know what that train whistle sounded like? It sounded like the Twin Peaks opening. Oh, I'm sleepy. Boy, oh boy. This is it, folks. This is the entertainment you came for, and boy, you got it, buddy. My eyeball's getting blurry because I'm so sleepy. I am out of one of my medications because I forgot to get it. Like, I realized on Thursday, oh frick, I've got one more pill. So I called in that night. I called in the prescription. So I was like, I have to remember, stop, I didn't mean to click on that. I have to remember Friday after work, while the pharmacy is still open, to go get my prescription. And in the middle of work on Friday, I was like, oh yeah, I have to remember to go get my prescription. And then Friday, like late at night when I was taking my last pill, I was like, I forgot to get my prescription. So tonight I'm not going to be able to take my pill, and Sunday night I'm not going to be able to take my pill. So I'm going to be hurting. Not hurting, hopefully not physically hurting, but I am not going to be doing well. Because you don't go cold turkey off of the medication I'm on unless you want to end up in ER. But you know what I should have done when I realized I was screwed like yesterday night? I should have taken half the pill last night and half the pill tonight, but I just didn't do that. So it's my own fault. I'm going to suffer, and hopefully my vertigo's not so bad on Monday that I can't like get to work and get to the pharmacy after work. We'll see. If my day ends in hilarity, for everyone else and tears and vomit for me. You'll know how that came out. Oh, you can't even see that, but I like the effect of kind of implying eyelids. Sorry, you guys. I'm gonna make words and pay attention to the chat now. The train is catcalling you, perhaps. Jeezy said the episode of Moral Oral where he gets grounded from church was he keeps killing himself so he sees God. It starts with Oral sitting in a bathtub with his friends around him with their wrists slit bleeding into the tub. Dear God! I've never seen that show, and I am... That's something, alright. Light skins are the worst. Mixed race does not equal light skinned. Well, that's true. Yeah, it equals somewhere in the middle and probably much darker than even the darkest Caucasians, which I'm okay with because skin color doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make you more virtuous or more interesting. Ooh, my phone buzzed and it made like my brain vibrate. I think I might be sleepy. Wee. Fun. Drawing is fun. I guess I can do kind of an extreme shadow up there. Yes, I don't know about anywhere else. Maybe her cheekbone a little bit. No, I like her. I like her bone structure not being super exaggerated there. That's because extremely pale people, just like gingers, have no soul. Perhaps it is transmitted through your body, you know? Perhaps the fairness of your complexion does not allow your soul to stay in, and it just floats away when you're exposed to sunlight. Arab boys and Brazilian girls agree the preferred skin type. Yeah. Sorry, Asians. Aw. I loved her in The Village. Yes. Oh my gosh. I think that was like the golden era of M. Night Shyamalan. And I know people are going to laugh at me and make fun of me, but I don't give a shit. No offense. But The Village is a phenomenal movie. It is terrifying because it is the unknown, because it is so imaginative that you don't know what's happening. And the twist is like classic M. Night Shyamalan. It's really good. And Lady in the Water is like, I haven't watched that in years and I can't find it anywhere. I'm just gonna have to like buy it online. But like that movie makes me cry because it's just so... It's scary, but it's so truly like hopeful in such a childlike way. Like the fairy tale of it is like there's such vulnerable faith and hope that all the characters have, that everything can be overcome, that it just makes me cry. No one should have to go extinct for someone else's unearned sense of moral superiority. People are allowed to preserve their cultures. Well, of course, but I would argue that culture does not equal skin color at all. The Last Airbender is his worst movie. Yeah, I forgot he did that. Jessica Chastain is better than Bryce Dallas Howard. I disagree. There's nothing wrong with her. I was really mad that she's playing Bev in It Part 2, but that's okay. Like, she's a good actress. I'm not a huge fan of her. I never have been. My favorite redhead is Christina Hendricks, and I am in love with her. She is the most gorgeous thing in the world. I love Christina Hendricks. She is an angel. She is like the most gorgeous woman alive. But I don't know that I like anything that Christina Hendricks is really in. Ironically, I couldn't watch Mad Men. It was kind of slow moving for me. I should probably try it again, but just the way women were treated in that era makes me so mad that I can't watch it. And it was just kind of a slow moving plot. I'm just like scrolling furiously. I hope I'm not giving anybody like motion sickness. Okay. I'm gonna move the lady up, I think. You know what? No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll just crop that out later. It's not really relevant at the time being. I'll try and outline some of this. I'm just going to leave the gray in because I don't really care. It's not stylized. It's just laziness. Wait, I mean, it's not laziness. It's my style. Yes, that's right. And I'll worry about drawing her irises and pupils later because I don't care. I'm cold and tired. Oh, poor me. Life is rough, man. I could use a smaller outline now. Nah, it's not. I won't do that. I'll do this. Speaking of eyes, there was a type. I would message a girl about how pretty their eyes are, not understanding how creepy that was. Aw. Yeah, I'm unbelievably creepy too, and I don't realize I'm being creepy. I still don't. And I do think I'm probably a little bit autistic, and I just was never diagnosed. And I think it's one of those things where, like, if you look a certain way, like if you've got blonde hair and blue eyes and you're sort of like nice and sweet enough that you kind of get through life, and you're able to basically survive all of the like major faux pas and wildly inappropriate and shocking things that you say and do that you don't understand are inappropriate. Like, unless you're suffering to the point where like it's obvious to people that something is horrifically wrong, or, you know, unless, I don't know, like, conditions have to be right for somebody to even think, hey, maybe this person has autism. And I think I'm mildly autistic. I think I probably have Asperger's, but I think my social anxiety to an extent has like forced me to almost like learn the behavior to counteract it. Like I think I've kind of like created my own, I'm sorry, I'm just like blabbing about myself. I'm so sleepy. Like I've created my own fail-safes to kind of prevent me from doing really inappropriate things, because even though I don't understand at all why saying certain things is inappropriate, I understand that it is. And my terror at social rejection, like my just crushing fear of rejection that dictates every single freaking thing I do, it kind of keeps me in check and keeps me from saying things that I think will probably upset people, even though I don't exactly understand why. I don't know. But yeah, like I don't think stuff like that is creepy. But I don't know if this is like a fair equivalence, but something that people like make fun of and laugh about all the time that I don't understand at all is like when you like somebody's old photos. Like people are always talking about like, yeah, lol, I looked up my boyfriend's ex and I accidentally liked one of her pictures from like 2015. Lol, 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 LMFAO and stuff like that. Like they're not embarrassed that they accidentally liked something they didn't like. They're embarrassed that they liked something from a long time ago. Or like people will say, yeah, I was looking at my friend's page or my crush's page or whatever, and I accidentally liked a photo or something of theirs from like 2015. Okay, why is that upsetting? Why is that embarrassing? Or like people are like, yeah, I don't understand, like this person liked something of mine from that long ago, like, are you okay? Or like, super creepy, lol. Like, wait, the purpose of social media, one of the main purposes of social media, is to get positive feedback, is to get affirmations and validation from people. And then you get validation from people because they genuinely like something that you shared with the world and you think that's creepy. Like, time is not linear. Just because we are so limited by our mortality that we are trapped down in these linear little inescapable forward-moving tracks of life does not mean that time is linear. Like, this moment that is now is not now. It's only now in our incredibly limited perceptions. Like, the past was as much now as now is, and every moment in the future will be now as much as this moment is, you know? Like, the present is only the present in your incredibly limited perception. And so it's like you should never feel like you are trapped in and defined by your past. That's not true at all. And I don't want people to if they ever see this, think that way or feel like what they're doing now and their plans for the future don't matter because of their past. That's not true at all. But it's like, that's also the reason why, like, if I post a picture with like an ex or a friend from a long time ago, I don't understand deleting those things. Like, I get it if you find out that like that person has been cheating on you or something horrible like that. But like, I cannot fathom why people, like, when you get in a new relationship, you suddenly have to like wipe all evidence from the face of the earth that you were ever with that old person. It, like, stuff like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, everything that happened to you ever was just as legitimate and real as everything that's happening to you now. You know, the bad things are just as real as the good things too. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, like, why would you get upset at somebody for liking something old of yours? And it's like, people never do that. You know, like, every great once in a while somebody will like some old post of mine and I'm like, oh, that's kind of odd, but I'm not creeped out by it. And I, you know, part of me, like, if I really like somebody and I'm scared of them disliking me, I won't like their old posts because I don't want people to think I'm creepy. But I cannot fathom why people think that, like, looking, like, caring about somebody or being interested or inquisitive enough to, like, you know, kind of quickly scroll through their old stuff. Like, why is that creepy? You posted that, you left it posted. You don't have like Instagram or something wipe everything like 2 months after it happened. It doesn't stop being relevant. I don't like stuff like that. I'm so sorry I'm going on a tangent. I'm exhausted, but that's just, you know, yet another example of something. I don't know if it's comparable in your mind, Nemo, to like messaging somebody and telling them their eyes are pretty, but like, I don't. There are so many things that people are like, oh, that's so weird, and I can't fathom why. You know, I don't understand stuff like that at all. I don't know. And it's sad because I obviously have not been diagnosed, so I don't want anybody to think that I'm self-diagnosing or like my whole life is governed by this thing that I don't have proof that I have. But the thought that maybe I am autistic, when, you know, a lot of proof points to the fact that I might be, if I am, that is really sad because that would explain so many things that happened in my life. And for some reason, you know, if you've got like big eyes and long blonde hair, people don't look at you as autistic. They think that you're totally in control of your life. They don't have pity for you, you know. Kind of in the same way that, like, if people perceive you as attractive, it's almost like not possible for them, or it's incredibly unlikely for them to perceive you as, you know, anything sympathetic, like that person is really shy. Like, people psychologically almost always perceive somebody they think is attractive as like aloof and arrogant, and that's why they don't talk to you. Stuff like that. Like, if you look a certain way, people assume certain things about you. And like, you know, I would say things that people were like shocked by and angered at, and I still don't understand why they weren't appropriate, you know. And it's not like I was like being a total asshole to people and then I was like, I don't understand why this person got mad because I laughed in their face that their puppy, you know, died or something. It was never things like that. It was just like, if I say something to you and it sounds weird, but I explain to you like why that's a good thing in my mind, or if I talk about somebody and I'm saying really nice things about them while they're in earshot, like if I'm gossiping about someone but I'm talking about how sweet they are or how impressed I am by how they like carry themselves or express themselves, people are like, why are you saying that? They're right there. Like, I don't understand stuff like that. And you know, nobody like ever thought to ask me, you know, like, why do you do that all the time? Or, you know, like my parents or my teachers when I was a kid, nobody ever thought to like test me for, I believe it's like categorized as a developmental thing, you know? And You know, I was never given the benefit of the doubt on that. And I don't know. You know, it's one of those things where, like, it makes me really sad in retrospect, because there are all kinds of things that, like, I got in trouble for, people were really shocked and angry and upset about, and I still don't understand what about them, like, merits offense or suspicion or revulsion. And I'm not talking about, like, you guys, I just, like, scratched my butt, you want to smell it? I'm not talking about, like, disgusting stuff where it's obvious why. It's just, like, I don't know. I don't understand certain things like that, and I feel like that might explain why. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I say things like that to people too, and it doesn't occur to me that, you know, something's gonna be interpreted that way. But on the other hand, I'm very innocent. I'm incredibly sheltered and naive. So, like, a lot of the time when people would mean things in a really, like, sexual way, just, you know, to use one example, I almost never perceive things in that way, you know? So there were times when people would be, like, appalled that I entertained somebody discussing something with me, or, like, I don't know, trying to say or do certain things, and I don't mean anything, like, super intense or, like, me being violated in any way, or, you know, but, like, because I don't think that way, like, I've said things in the past, and then people are, like, horrified and shocked, and then it takes me, like, hours or days or even months later, and then I realize, like, oh my God, it didn't even occur to me that was, like, the end result of that thought. You know, like, when I joke about, like, sexual things, for example, I don't ever think of, like, people acting those things out. You know, I think of them in, like, the basest, almost, like, sort of innocent, like, teenager sense. You know, like, I reference those things thinking about the fact that they exist, or because it sounds funny and I'm a 14-year-old boy, you know, maturity and sense of humor wise. But, like, the only way I can fathom people reacting the way they do sometimes is, like, if when somebody, like, jokes about something like that, normal people, like, they carry the whole thing out in their head, and they, like, graphically visualize things like that. Like, I'm not like that. Like, every great once in a while, one of, like, my male friends or something, it'll occur to me that one of them has a penis, and then, like, I'm traumatized, like, for weeks, because I don't think about things like that. I don't think about people sexually. You know what I mean? So, like, Nemo, in your case, I don't think that you are, like, I cannot imagine you approaching someone, like, with, like, a really kind of, like, creepy intention, you know, like, toward them, or because you're having some kind of, like, creepy sentiment toward them. And I think part of the problem is that most people either are not as, like, naive or innocent and well-meaning, or most people have been around people who are not innocent and well-meaning to the point where they don't, like, trust people or something. Does that make sense? I'm so sorry I'm rambling, you guys. I really want to finish this before I go to bed, so I'm just going on and on forever. She still looks weird, and I'm not super into it, but it's not terrible either. I don't know. I'll try and finish it here. Sorry. Badoo. I'm sorry. I'm going back to try and catch up on everything. Are you drawing Sophie Turner? I've heard that name. Oh, no. Sophie Turner is Sansa. No, this was not meant to be her. It's just, this is how the features came out, in part because I'm so zoomed up that I can't really see the proportions I'm giving, which is why I selected the mouth with this rope tool and then, like, stretched it out. Don't worry, I can undo that. It does look like Sophie Turner, though, a little bit, doesn't it? Not the weird, like, hair qualities, but she's perfect for chapter 2. She probably is, but, like, I don't know who else I thought would play Bev, but I'm not sure. Christina Hendricks got her start in Firefly, and Mad Men is a false representation of the times again. Virtue signaling? Well, I mean, yeah, perhaps. It's obviously not like a... it's not like a totally accurate representation of what went on then. You know, obviously not everyone behaved that way. But she got her start in Firefly? Really? There's so many, like, obscenely, like, jaw-droppingly gorgeous women in Firefly. Like, who's that lady? Is her, like, name Moreno? I just love that somebody's name is just, like, brunette. VGC said, yeah, I've had to catch myself when giving girls, like, fire reacts on Instagram, unless the girls know I'm not trying to be creepy. Yeah. Social awkwardness and shyness does not mean you have the tism. Well, that's true too, Assassin. That's a very good point, you know, and obviously I've not been diagnosed with autism, so I didn't suddenly come to the conclusion that, wow, I kind of seem autistic sometimes, and, like, drastically changed my life, and now, you know, it's not like I go around and I'm like, well, I handled that interaction poorly. You know, that darn flippin' autism, you know, it's not like that, but yeah, that's a good point to remember, of course. It sucks when I'm friends with a lot of female athletes at the school I work at, but I keep forgetting that the new girls don't know me like the older girls who were around when I was a student. Yeah, that would be a hard situation. Here, maybe if I connect this, it'll, whoops. Oh, not like that. Frick, that's not good. That's, yay, that's almost okay. Nice, okay. My voice is, like, completely gone. I'm so sleepy. I have some, I was gonna say I don't have anything to drink to help a little bit. I have nail polish remover, but that would probably be ill-advised to ingest. I almost sound like Vegeta. No, not even a little bit, Michelle. You wish. I love Vegeta. Okay, that was... Nope. Not even a little bit relevant. Try again. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna just roughly... my brain. Sketch out the irises like this. I'm gonna give... I'm gonna give her... blue eyes. I'm subverting expectations. Isn't that what everybody does these days? Subverting expectations is more important than actually making any sense. People are no longer taught tact, so people mistake it for a mental condition instead of someone being inconsiderate to others. Yeah, I mean, that can definitely be the case at times as well. Sorry, Jamesy, I'm just not reading everything you guys are saying. That's not your social ineptness, is not why you're confused. They simply have said something that makes them very vulnerable, but at the same time they crave attention. So to balance out the situation, they have to show to others and to themselves that it was a goof type of instance. Once the crowd agrees, they have the validation of their feelings. Oh, okay. I understand. That contextualization of the, like, Instagram phenomenon helps, I think. I go through people's social stuff to get to know them more. Me too, Scrappy. Like, I mean, obviously you're not getting, like, a super accurate read on who they are. Everybody excludes things from social media. You don't see me, like, picking my nose in the middle of the night and then, like, praying for death because I don't have a tissue to wipe it on and I just lay there for half an hour because I don't know what to do and I hate everything. You don't see me, like, crying all the time for no reason. You didn't see the time that, like, they put black beans on my burrito bowl and I cried and was, like, nasty to my fiance for half an hour, and he just so sweetly and patiently just sat there with me and we watched TV until I calmed down and apologized. Like, you know, you don't see everything about people on social media. Like, I keep my like, Kasame thirst to a minimum on social media. Stuff like that. But you do get an interesting illustrative glamps. Oh, hello, English. Glimpse into people's lives. And you also get to see, like, kind of their perception of the correct way to market oneself. And you get to see, like, what they think is important, you know, and what they think other people think is important as well. I think it's fascinating, you know. And I just don't see why people wig out. Those are like the best eyes I've ever drawn. That was weird. I'm weirded out that went well. Here. Let me fix some little bitties here. This is actually gorgeous. I'm really impressed with how this came out because for once, instead of being a weenie, I took my time. That's my other problem with like stuff like commissions. I am so impatient. Like I don't have the discipline to sit and draw something for like 3 hours. Like I'll draw for half an hour and then I will drop what I'm doing and I'll start shading. Like I'll have one part of the drawing almost completely done before I finish the line art on another part. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because my attention span in some ways is so short that I have like adapted and improvised and figured out ways to keep myself at least engaged with the same drawing, even if it means doing things out of order or something. I'm going to add a more like stark highlight to this. There. That's better. That's not as much lighter. I guess that makes sense as I thought it would be. Interesting. That came out kind of cool so far. Sorry. You're not getting instance of insecurity doesn't reinforce them. Therefore, you are a threat when they internally are so messed up that they have no idea to express themselves in the first place. Yeah, you're not getting it. Yeah, okay, I understand. You're not getting it. Yeah. Stop jumping, chat. Hi, Smoking Rat. Welcome. People are afraid sometimes to share their feelings. People seem to fear being left vulnerable about their opinions they share, which in like in many instances that makes perfect sense. You know, like people are cruel. I have been bullied almost to the point of committing suicide, you know, for a big chunk of my life. And a lot of that bullying, some of it was done by the jocks at school. I was one of the rare cases where it wasn't girls, it was mostly boys who bullied me. But one of the people who bullied me relentlessly and spread all kinds of just bizarre, malicious rumors about me like having had sex with certain people. Like this guy I dated for like 2 weeks and we went to Hot Topic and he had to like ask his mom who was in the food court for money to buy me a shirt. Like this person spread rumors about me having slept with him. He spread rumors about me like stalking one of my teachers. Just bizarre things. Like one of the people who bullied me more than anybody in my case was somebody that I knew, like, and who knew me well. So like all of my friends liked him better because he was more fun. Didn't matter that he was going out of his way to make my life a living hell because he was jealous of me. He was more fun. And if somebody's more fun to be around than you, even if they're a horrible person, I've got bad news for you. Most of the time, your friends will ditch you for that person, at least in my experience. Like, I was bullied horrifically. I know how unbelievably cruel people can be. I'm shivering because it's so cold in our basement with the air on. And people on the internet can be evil. Just, that's not hyperbole. People on the internet can be absolutely evil, you know? So I understand people's reluctance to be vulnerable. I understand people's reluctance to be honest. However, I think that if more people were honest about the fact that life is not always perfect, you know, we're not always like out tanning, listening to our favorite music, or like having glamorous, like, bar hopping nights with our girlfriends, or I don't know, like every day is not like holding hands in a rose garden with your husband while your children like change their own diapers and stuff. Like I think if more people were open about how life actually is, I think people who try to mock you and ruin your life because it's not perfect and because you dare to be vulnerable, I think they would have a lot less weight, because it wouldn't be this like, oh, that's weird, I didn't know I selected that. Like, trying to mock you for personal things, I think it would have a little bit less weight if everybody was honest about their lives not always being perfect. You know, if people weren't like scrambling and panicked when somebody finds out their life isn't perfect. Oh, my stomach made a kitten noise. I'm probably dying. But yeah, I mean, I understand, like, I get why people are so reluctant to be vulnerable, and I understand that, like me being honest about things in my life, there are going to be people who are so cruel. There are going to be people at some point who are like, well, you can't trust her opinions on politics, she's mentally ill, or, you know, like, this girl can't be like pro-life or something, she doesn't even have children, or like, if you don't like children, you can't be pro-life, or you can't be a conservative if you don't want kids and have cats, or I don't know. Like, people will talk about my depression. People will make fun of the singers I like and the anime I watched as a kid and say, like, you're clearly some, like, pervert incel or something because I like anime, you know? Like, the bigger my channel gets, and it is getting bigger very gradually, like, people will use anything that you put out against you. But, you know, it's also one of those things where, like, if you don't know anything about me, your opinion of me really isn't that relevant, unless you are, like, actually actively harming my reputation, you know, with, like, slanderous stuff or something like that. I don't really care. So, like, you know, it goes both ways. Like, you're always risking, it's a huge risk to ever disclose anything about yourself on the internet, especially if you put yourself in a position to where you're going to be targeted, like I have, by having certain political opinions, by having, like, not extreme, like, communist, like Bernie Stan opinions. I don't know. I'm sorry, that was like a really ridiculous rambling thing. I'm joking, but saying your eyes are pretty is still better than a sudden message that starts with, I like your skin, at least if you asked me, which is creepy. And in response, VGC said, it's weird, Smoking Rat, because I've been told by girls and it's totally fine, and sometimes encouraged for me to say randomly, hey, if your skin looks nice today. Scrappy said, lol, you probably got called socially awkward. I did very much, yeah. And the Smoking Rat said, people are afraid sometimes to share their feelings. Duh, I read that already. Scrappy said, I don't think about my male friends' penises either. Yeah, or like people that I know have been married or in committed relationships. Like, if I'm ever unlucky enough for it to actually occur to me, like, just one day randomly, they have sex sometimes. Like, my life has changed and I'm traumatized, which is so dumb. It's just so dumb, you know? She looks like X-Men, Sophie Turner. Okay, I see. All anyone can find online of me is my work. Well, that's wise, Assassin. I'm not that way, obviously. It's one of those things where I would like to share a lot more of my personal stories, but if I talk about politics, I can't also share a lot about my personal life. If I could be a channel who just talks about my personal life and funny and embarrassing things that happen, but, you know, then if you bring politics into it, people have all this stuff to, like, try and use against you and, you know, like, try and slander you and stuff. So I have not been very good about adhering to a genre. And it's also one of those things, it's weird, like, certain people can get away with it. If you frame yourself and you present yourself in a very specific way, you can kind of avoid, like, certain, like, levels of scrutiny to an extent. I don't know. Everybody's different, and, you know, it's just so different and complex and nuanced, like, the ways that people, like, present themselves and, like, market to their channels that, you know, I don't know. It's so different for everybody. Some people, their whole lives, can put things out there that if one other person has done, like, one thing differently in their career or with their online presence, it would ruin their life, you know, just based on the people that you irk who have vendettas against you. Oh shoot, the miser beauty. Thank you. I never saw the post on Facebook, and so many briefings in the army about not volunteering personal information. That's very smart. I'm sorry, I never saw the point of Facebook. I got on Facebook because I wasn't allowed to have MySpace, and I desperately wanted to be like relevant, and I wanted people to like me, which is so pathetic. Because if people didn't like me for who I was in person, why are they gonna like me? I don't know, because I have a Facebook. That's very small. Whoa. There. Wait, no, it's not 2018 anymore. Whoopsie. Now is this selected? No, it's not. I've got to select it. What font do we want? Stop. Stay on task. Size first. Font later. That's me. Ugh. Oh, crap. Wait. Is it letting me? No, it's not. For heaven's sake. Okay. Whoa. It's big now. So she said. Yay. Okay. Oh, 20. Okay. So sleepy. Oh, I sound like a cow in heat. That's never a good thing. All right. No, I want this to be small. Small? Not that small. Small? Oh, I want it to intersect with the black a little bit. Well, the problem is it has to be in here a little bit, or people are going to steal my art, even though it's not very good. Okay, so now we choose a font. But yeah, Facebook is a terrible idea, and now that we know how much of our information Facebook has stolen, it's even more of a terrible idea. But it's like, it's one of those things, like, even if you delete your Facebook, they still have your information. And obviously they can't gather any more from you, so they try to get you back. But Facebook is one of those things, unfortunately, where it's my only way to stay in contact with a lot of people. And I, like my family members, I want to know what's going on with them. But it's one of those things where, like, I love my family, and they're always like, why does a 0 look so silly? The 0 looks like a different size. Like my family, like my extended family, like aunts and uncles and people always tell me, like, you can always talk to us, you know, like, we're always here for you. But it's one of those things where I am so socially just awkward. I was such a pathetic, embarrassing kid that I'm just far too ashamed. Like, I could never approach any of my, you know, like, extended family to ask them for help when I'm, like, really depressed, or I just need their advice, or just to ask how they're doing. Like, I feel like, and I feel that way about, like, most of my friends too. Like, I'm just so awkward and stupid that I've like ruined all of these relationships beyond repair. Like, I don't think it would even be worth it to, like, try to fix any of them. Like, I mean, especially, like, my extended family. Some of my family hates me. Like, and I think it's because I'm a conservative. Like, I have at least one family member who I'm pretty sure he, like, hates me. Like, the only time he ever acknowledges me is, like, to disagree with me about political stuff. Like, you know, I don't know how to fix a relationship like that. I don't think it's possible. Did that not bold itself? No, it did. Why does it look so different? Oh, okay. No, it's right. Oh, it's not right. No. Wait, hold on. I don't know. I just, like, my like, family, I want to make sure they're okay, you know, and I wish I could talk to them, but I feel like I can't. I just feel like I screwed everything up with most of those people. But that's a total tangent, and it's not relevant, and I apologize if that was, like, too depressing and it made anyone uncomfortable. But I, unfortunately, like, out of obligation, I feel like I need to keep Facebook, even though I hate it. Like, I would delete it if that wasn't the only way I can, like, keep track of, like, what my cousins, who were my best friends when I was little, were doing, like, my aunts and uncles, people from school who I have no idea how to talk to them, but I like them a lot, you know. Why isn't this lining up? I should be able to, like, offset this perfectly. And I can't. Is there? All right, hold on. Something is not right here. Something about this, like, one of the letters is a different size or something, because it's not letting me, hold on. Can I get rid of it? Okay. Yeah, something about that. I'm sorry, you guys. I swear once I'm finished with, like, the stupid little signature part, I'll go to bed. But something about this is not right. Like, if I type something, I'm sorry about how, like, springy and mechanical my keyboard sounds. It's the coolest keyboard ever, and I will, like, film myself cycling through the settings, and I'll show you guys on Twitter or something at some point. But, like, if I type this, and then I type the exact same thing again, I should be able to, like, offset it ever so slightly, you know? And it should look like a drop shadow. I just don't know why this isn't working. I just, like, how do you fix things like that? Like, when a family member, the only time they acknowledge your existence is to disagree with you on only the social media posts. Out of all the times when I criticize conservatives, which is a lot, which is why a lot of conservatives don't like me, because I don't give them a pass because we're on the same side. Like, none of that is acknowledged. None of those things that I know that person agrees with do they acknowledge. The only times they acknowledge my existence are, like, snarky responses when they disagree with me. Like, how do you can't repair relationships like that when people just don't like you, you know? And, like, I'm not going to shut up. If I think that something is right, if it's the right thing to do, if I think it's important, like the media censoring people, the total bias against the truth and, like, a certain political side, sorry, I'm not going to stop doing what I believe is the right thing to do, and that is my duty as someone who is so privileged to live in a country like this. It's my job to make sure that, like, the socialists in power do not shut the door on this kind of opportunity when, like, capitalism, for example, has elevated billions of people out of poverty worldwide. Like, if it pisses you off and you don't like me and you, like, don't want me around your family because I stand up for what I believe is right, that's fine. Like, I have to get to a point where I just don't care. Like, I can't, like, keep trying to, like, temper what I say and what I discuss, because the people who already have decided they don't like me, they're not going to change their opinion anyway. And it's one of those things where, like, I feel like I need to do what I believe is the right thing to do. I need to speak out about things that I think are important. And, the approval of people who already just don't like me and are never going to like me shouldn't affect how I operate at all, I guess. But it's still hard. It bothers me. I think about it all the time, and I just don't know what to do. I feel like a bad person, for not being able to be, like, the perfect, little, like, politically correct, like, docile, like, far leftist, little lady. I can't do it. Sorry. Sorry, I'm rambling again. Give her a Nemo tattoo. How? What would I do that for? I do not have my real name attached to any email account. That's smart. Last summer, my high school friends, the one whose behalf I went to war for, exiled me over politics. This is why I will always hate leftism now. It's evil. Yeah. Like, 10 years ago, it wasn't like this. 5 years ago, it wasn't like this. Like, I have super leftist, very good friends who I met at an anime club when I was, like, I was just all of the semesters, not just the one where I was vice president. But, like, I have friends who are really leftist. Now, they would never be friends with me because somehow, thinking that the government has no business being in our marriages, thinking that the government should not have to approve of our marriages for them to happen. And for that reason, I don't care if people have a same-sex union and call it gay marriage. For believing that capitalism, because it statistically, factually, historically has lifted billions of people of all sexes and gender identities and skin colors out of poverty, as opposed to socialism, which only benefits the 1% and makes the disparity between them and the rest of us bigger. Because I don't think that it's right to treat someone as more or less virtuous due to their skin color and their gender and their sexuality and stuff. Like, because I believe those things in this day and age, somehow I'm a neo-Nazi. Just vile, ridiculous, slanderous shit like that, you know? Like, a lot of the people who I'm good friends with who got to know me well enough to know I am not any of those disgusting things that progressives want to label me as for having different beliefs about, like, what economic system works best for us. You know, like, those people would never... Like, they would be treated like monsters, and all of their established friends would call them, like, white supremacist allies and just vile shit like that if they even talked to someone like me, you know? I would probably, like, people in the Anime Club would have petitioned for me to be kicked out if I was the vice president now, because I don't think that Donald Trump is worse than Hitler or Stalin or Mussolini or Che Guevara. You know, it didn't used to be like this. And it's really, really sad, you know? Like, just because people voted for a president you don't like doesn't mean they're evil. Particularly when your reason for hating that person, they're all things that can be debunked, you know, if you would just listen to people who are giving you sound bites and giving you proof that the accusations that you are hurling are inaccurate. Like, it's just so sad how many people who have always been kind and respectful and decent, who know, like, that I and many of their other friends are not racist, are not sexist, we're not xenophobic, we're not these evil monsters. Like, people who know us better than that are saying, unfriend me, I don't want anything to do with you. If you're a Trump voter, or you're a MAGA, like, bigot, or if you're a racist who wants the wall, or if you're into, like, patriarchal, like, sexist shit, like, not destroying the economy through socialism and putting tons more people in poverty, unfriend me. You're a bigot. You're disgusting. Or, like, you know that around half the country, like, probably supported and voted for Donald Trump, right? And all of your Facebook posts are, like, talking about, like, the Trumpsters and, like, the Trumpians and the lunatic, racist, evil, like, old white men telling women what to do with their bodies and stuff. You people have to know logically that close to half of your friends consider themselves to be right-wing, right? Or, like, right of center. And you're talking to them either because you're so delusional and so egotistical that you can't fathom anybody real actually believing something different than you, or because deep down you know that if you talk about right-wingers or even people who are moderately conservative as monsters, they will be too intimidated or shocked or saddened to ever defend themselves and their perfectly reasonable, decent beliefs. It's pathetic and bizarre and sad. You know, like, I had these people who loved me and I loved them, and I was very respectful of their political beliefs. I never said a thing against it, ever, you know. Even when they railed about their politics with me around, I never said a thing. I house sat for them. They trusted me to be the only person in their house. I dog sat for them for years. You know, their baby, their angel who they love more than anything, they trusted me enough to have me, like, take care of him and be his best friend and the only person he was able to depend on in the whole world while they were gone for years. And I think it's because of my politics. Like, they don't talk to me anymore. This dog passed away and they never told me. This dog who they trusted, this baby of theirs that they loved dearly, they put its life in my hands for years. And I think because I post things about like climate change alarmists skewing the narrative, and how stupid it is that politicians are trying to insist that the world is going to end in 10 years. But you shouldn't be recycling or composting. The only thing you can do to save the world is give the government, all these rich people, all of your money. Trust us, we'll save the world for you. Shit like that, because I speak out against things like that, because I point out that if you think that enforcing immigration laws is racist, you are equating Mexicans with breaking the law, and that's fucking racist. Do you not understand how assuming that all illegal immigrants are Mexican is racist? Do you not understand how disgusting it is that you just assume that everybody who breaks the law, everybody who disrespects border laws is Mexican or Hispanic, and nobody who obeys the laws and immigrates lawfully could possibly be Hispanic? Do you not understand how racist that is? Because I point things out like that, respectfully, these people who trust me and know I'm a decent, reliable enough person to have trusted their beloved dog's life and put it in my hands for years, didn't even tell me when this dog died. You know, like that's where we've gotten to. That's where we've gotten to, you know? It's bizarre. It's bizarre, and it's so sad. Like, I don't care if you're on the left. If you care enough to be invested in politics, if you legitimately think that what you're advocating for and sticking up for is the right thing to do, I could not respect you more. I don't care if you're on the left. And we're to a point where that's not acceptable anymore, you know? Even if you have been friends with people your whole life and you know they're good people, they're automatically evil racists that you know they're not, because they're not like perfect, like little leftist angels. Just like Aaron Hansen and Matt and Ryan unfollowing Chris O'Neill. When they know him better than that. They knew him, they liked him and found him to be a good enough person to be friends with him for years. But as soon as the littlest bit of scrutiny is put on people by the lynch mob on the far left, as soon as you're not allowed to say anything funny anymore, as soon as like it's problematic to have like a Let's Play channel with a gay interracial couple as your co-hosts for years, like as soon as those people making edgy jokes is too problematic, you just drop people who you've been friends with for years, who you know are good people. Like that's what's happened to this world. That's what's happened to this world. Like people like Aaron Hansen are so preoccupied with their business and making money that they're willing to drop friends who they have loved and been good friends with for years. Like Chris was supposed to be the other Game Grump. Like the pilot episode of Game Grumps that never aired, it was Aaron and Chris, you know? Like, obviously I do not know their group of friends. Maybe other stuff has gone on in the background. But like Chris has expressed that he doesn't know why the super mega people and why the Game Grumps unfollowed him. They never said a word to him, you know? They couldn't even do this person the courtesy of saying, hey, for business reasons, we can't be associated with you publicly. You understand we got to protect ourselves and take care of our families. But no, you know, that's just what's happened in our society. It's that divisive. It's that evil. You know, we're destroying ourselves. We are. Nobody even has to do it for us. Russia doesn't have to interfere with our elections. We're doing it ourselves. You know, we're doing every anti-American entity in the world's work for it. Michelle dropping truth napalm. Maybe, I guess. I used to not let shit go. I've come around to picking my battles. Yeah, I know. I try to do that as well. I'm not very good at it. I'm obviously far from perfect. I can be vindictive when I believe that I'm right about something. I stick up for myself, even when it's probably not necessary and not helpful. And I need to learn how to pick my battles too. Assassin says, I did not change. They just got increasingly angry since the election. Well, exactly. Like people who were totally decent people a couple years ago. Now, like, if you're one of like the probably 50ish% of the population who doesn't believe that socialism or communism is the best for everyone, who believes that people of every race are capable of following laws and shit like that, you know, they just think you're a Nazi now, and they want nothing to do with you, which is evil. Like, there's nothing more irresponsible and dangerous than trivializing how evil the Nazis were by labeling everybody you don't like as a Nazi. Like, there's nothing more dangerous and evil than actually, like, undermining and obscuring how evil racism is by calling everybody you don't like a racist because you know it will destroy their reputation. Like, I don't know, it's surreal. I'm so tired and my blood sugar's so low that, like, my stomach is, like, shivering, and I don't know why. I really need to go very soon. I'm, like, just dying. I'm just so sad and tired that my body's falling apart. I am libertarian and just want to put my life back together, and that's totally fair. That's totally justifiable. And, you know, if people know you and know you're a good person, they should know better than that. They shouldn't fall for the ridiculous, pathetic, transparent, divisive rhetoric that's going on. It's just so sad, you know. I don't know. But then, I don't know. Like, the family member who hasn't liked me for a long time because I'm conservative, like, that person has always been that way, like, before things got this divisive. So it's one of those things where, like, it plagues me. I'm always thinking about the fact that people that I wish liked me don't like me. You know, like, I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know how to fix it. Like, I feel like I'm hurting our family and I did something wrong, like, because this person doesn't like me because of my politics. And that's so freaking stupid and backward. And it's, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, I need to stop doing that. And it's one of those things where, like, I think the psychology of politics is interesting too, because people who have never been through, like, legitimate trauma to where they have PTSD, like these super far leftist, like, Tumblr people, like, legitimately show signs of PTSD. Like, they have traumatized themselves by proxy, by believing that somebody respectfully disagreeing with them is a hate crime against them. Like, the psychology of politics is fascinating, and I'd like to learn more about that. But, like, yeah, I need to recognize that, like, I should know by now, after everything I've been through, I should know better than to be, like, brainwashed and tricked into believing everything is my fault. You know, I should know better than to apologize for things that I didn't do wrong. I should know better than to always assume that I screwed everything up and I have reason to be deeply ashamed of myself and everyone else's. You know, it's total bullshit, and I need to stop thinking that way. I'm 26, almost 27 years old. I need to unlearn all of this stuff that was, like, drilled into my brain, and that skewed my perception of everything developmentally. Going back to, like, my babysitter, you know, who I mentioned earlier in the stream, who was abusive. The kind of, like, not kind of, the neglect and the emotional abuse that went on in my house when I was little, things like that. You know, people who bullied me, and I don't mean just people being like, you're a nerd, or, like, tripping you in the hallway. Like, the person who bullied me and made my life a living hell through middle school and high school, the person who assaulted me physically to where I had to get surgery and go through physical therapy, the person who spread rumors about me that destroyed my relationships, you know, like, that's not just normal bullying. That was evil. That was physically and mentally abuse, categorically. You know, like, I need to start understanding these things, and I need to see them for what they are, so I can be proactive about undoing them. And I need to be realistic enough about those things to where I am capable of facing them and identifying what bad behaviors in my life have been, like a result of those things, those dysfunctional things that skewed my mind and my perception of things. Anyway, yeah, I need to stop caring. Like, people who are already committed to not liking me and have been committed to not liking me since I was like 14, I need to stop giving a shit about what they think, because I'm not the problem there, you know? Sorry, I'm just rambling and I need to go to bed now. The VGC said, the USA needs a realistic and truthful reminder of history to get people to remember what true evil is. Yeah, we need our own, like, Night King to get us to all unite and realize that there are more serious issues than our stupid garbage. But I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's possible. We are so divided now that the far left, like, is delusional enough to think that they are feminists, and to think that the right is being oppressive by telling women not to murder their babies, when the far left is okay with Sharia law. Where most of these women who are on the far left would be stoned in the streets or sold like property and raped by their husbands, you know, probably before puberty. Like, how do you do that when there's actual legitimate evil in the world, when the factions of ISIS that still exist are slaughtering Christians and you know, like chopping their babies up and their children to sell their organs in the organ trade, and the far left thinks that white people who make money are inherently evil. Like when there are people, hopefully you guys don't know some of the stuff that goes on the dark web, the things that people do to children and animals on the dark web. There is unspeakable evil in this world. Just unspeakable, like bone-chilling evil. The kind of stuff that keeps you awake at night because you know this is the unending, hellish, nightmarish reality for innocent things. Just unendingly, to where death would be an indescribable mercy to them. There is unspeakable evil in the world. And there are millions of people in this country who think there is nothing more evil than being a motivated, successful CEO of a company. There are people who think there is nothing more evil than some old person who doesn't know what it's like to be gay and to go through that crisis, who thinks that gay people probably shouldn't get married or that they need therapy, who doesn't know any better. How is there coming back from people thinking that? How is there coming? There's no coming back from a society where people are willing to overlook the unspeakable, just satanic evil in the world, who are willing to overlook all that and say, oh, a white man who runs a business is the most evil thing in the world. Donald Trump, senile, old, ridiculous, inappropriate, unpresidential Donald Trump is the most evil thing in the world. There's no coming back from that, because people are delusional and they are choosing to be delusional. They are choosing to prioritize and justify their hatred of other people over reason, over even caring about what's right and wrong. Like, there's no coming back from that. I'm sorry. There's no coming back from that. Burps into mic. Yep, that's me. Unfortunately, I've seen the dark web. Yeah, I have not, I mean, I've seen the kind of stuff that I don't know what kind of idiot, like, takes it off of the dark web and thinks they're going to get away with it. But, I mean, I've heard things, like, from people who were high schoolers or middle schoolers when, like, sick hazing shit, like, their friends made them see things that will haunt them in their darkest nightmares till they die. I've seen stuff like, you know, people post on Instagram, there's been this surge of this kind of content being posted. Please go report them. Please take these things down before they spread and before other creeps find this stuff and start sharing it, you know. So I've gone out of my way to, like, search for these accounts and report them. I've seen some things, and I, you know, once you know what kind of unspeakable, just sickening evil exists in the world, one, like, how would I not suffer with crippling depression my whole life? And two, how do you look at, like, an incompetent old man, you know, and say that that's the most evil person in the world. How do you, with a straight face, genuinely say that all men are evil? That is the epitome of evil? How? There's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from people that delusional, that dishonest. Our country is done. Personal freedoms, the founding principles of this country, are done. It's over, and we can try to slow the decline, and that's why I do what I do here. I think it's my duty to speak out, even though it's only going to slow the decline. It's not going to stop it or turn it around. I don't know. Very depressing. I apologize. If I tell people about what real evil is, having seen it and fought it firsthand, some of them will call me Islamophobic, which is such bullshit. Like, there are peaceful, moderate Muslims out there, Calling evil is not Islamophobic. And, the kind of people who do that, who say that denouncing stuff that, like, ISIS and people like that do is Islamophobic, how do they not realize that they are equating an entire religion with evil? How do they not understand how bigoted they are exposing themselves to be? Exactly, yeah. You're just not willfully ignorant. My friend worked at a police station and read the report on some very nasty stuff. I've been to news stations that told us some stories they would never air. Yeah, I know. It's one of those things where it's like, it's so horrific and evil and upsetting to people that, like, even though that is the unescapable, unending, like, hellish nightmare of a reality for children and other little innocent things that would do anything to just be killed and not have to exist anymore, because it's so upsetting and shocking, people don't want to hear about it. It's like the people on Facebook who are like, hey, can you please stop posting ASPCA stuff? It's sad and upsetting. That's a fucking animal's life. It's been tortured. It's been abused. This terrified, innocent, beautiful little thing has known nothing but pain and agony. And instead of learning and being educated about these things so you can help, you're like, hey, can you guys please stop posting this stuff? I don't like it. It's upsetting. Now, I totally understand the argument that, like, Facebook is not the place for that. Like, you have no obligation to expose yourself to things like that. Especially on social media, that's not the purpose of it. But just the privilege and the arrogance and the self-centeredness of some of the people who say things like that enrages me. Like, I mean, people have to know to an extent what goes on out there. But, it's so, you don't want to be like, boo-hoo, you don't want to be sad for 5 minutes because you saw a dog that's been neglected its whole life and they're asking for money so they can get it treatment and get it healthy enough to go to a loving home. Like, you don't want to hear about that because it made you sad for 3 minutes. Like, people like that enrage me. Like, I wish I didn't know what I knew that humanity is capable of. But at the same time, it's like, now that I know, I'm not going to tell people to shut up about it so I can pretend that life is perfect and all human beings are good. I'm gonna do everything within my power to try and help, which is very limited because I don't have a whole lot of money. I don't have a whole lot of resources, but I can do a little bit to help, like animal rescues and the like nonprofits that break up, child trafficking rings and stuff. I can help a little bit. I'd rather know about the horrors that are the inescapable reality for probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of innocent little things. I'd rather know about it so I can help than just pretend it doesn't exist because it inconveniences me to, I saw a news story about somebody doing something awful to a child or an animal. Who posts this stuff? Like, how much just nauseating, vile privilege and ignorance do you have to be just surrounded by and just completely absorbed in. To be angry at news stations and like animal rescue sites and like the organizations that try to stop human trafficking, how like sick and just disgusting, and how much of a waste do you have to be angry at them for trying to raise awareness? People, I hate people. I hate them. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I hate them. People legit don't know what happens in their own neighborhoods. Yeah, and I need to stop being angry at people who don't understand. Like, when I see people who post on like animal rescue sites, this makes me sick. I can't believe this happens. Grr, with angry emojis. Like, I've got to understand that this is a 50-year-old woman who, like, this is all the more complex it gets in her head, and I cannot fault her for that. I can't look down on people and be disgusted by people because they have a certain IQ. And I can't be disgusted by people because they don't know any better. Like, I don't understand how people are so clueless. But some of them are. Some of them are lucky enough in a selfish way to not hear about what goes on or not know what goes on in the world. And I can't fault people for that either. Like, some of the stuff that I know, I just become really bitter and angry about, and you can't take that out on people who don't know any better, I guess. They covered up Rotherham and other rape gangs for decades in the UK, all because the powers that be did not want to be considered racist. Yeah, what could be more evil than that? Like, yeah, the people who do stuff like that are evil, but in a way, I think the people who cover it up, like, to be politically correct and to maintain the status quo, are almost more evil. Because they're not so sick and twisted that they believe it's justifiable and they revel in it. They know, they have seen the monsters out there, and they let it happen to protect their own reputations and their own pocketbooks. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, in a way, that's almost more evil. Hi, Cheesy Tits. Holy shit, Michelle, isn't it like 5 a.m. where you're at? It's 2:17 a.m. and I need to go the heck to bed. I bit my tongue and it hurts. There's a little flap in my mouth that like hurts. I don't know if I had like a little sore there and I bit it. I'm just falling apart. I'm dying. I'm tired. I'm gassy. Everything's wrong. Now everybody's going to think that every chair creak was like a fart. It wasn't. If that's what you have to think to make yourself happy, that's fine. I think farts are hilarious, so I can't judge other people, whatever. What Trump says about those gangs crossing the border is 100% factual, but people straight up lie and call him racist. Yeah, it doesn't... Like, he clearly wasn't saying that all Mexicans are racist. He was pointing out that the vast majority of people who are crossing the border are monsters. They're evil. Why is Houston like the kidnapping capital of the world? Because the cartel knows that they can kidnap like women and little boys and little girls and sell them into sex trafficking for their whole lives. They know that no one will be held, like, no one's going to be held accountable if they run amok. Like, you really think that if a law is not being enforced, all of the people who break that law have good intentions and are desperate and just don't know what else to do? Like, the fact that people are so worried about semantics and pushing a narrative that they're letting that kind of evil happen, the kind of like organized crime that is operating across the border because they know they can, it's incomprehensible to me. Yeah. Please no hate people. Gotta learn to love them with a foam baseball bat to the head. I prefer the 556 NATO to correct the behavior of the socially maladjusted. Yeah, in the case of like dark web, uploaders and people like that. I need to go as usual, or I need to go to as usual. Got a driver's test. Just hopped in to say hello. Well, hello. Thank you so much for stopping by, Cheesy Tits. Good luck with your driver's test. Those are a blast. Huh? Go to bed, churches in the morning. Oh, it is Sunday morning, isn't it? Whoa. Nemo is right. This is all I did. This is my drawing. This is all the better it gets here, I guess. Oh my god, Nuvi, I'm here. You can start now. I literally just said I'm going to bed. You were here for that. I see things delayed as far as the chat. I'm dying. I need to go to bed. I'm in pain. When I stay up too late, my stomach starts hurting really bad. Like, when I was little, I could never pull all-nighters. I could never stay up with my friends overnight. It would get to like 4 in the morning and my stomach would hurt so bad I had to sleep. Like, my body shuts down. I'm so stupid. Like, why am I alive? When mean people comment that, I'm like, no, you're stupid. But when I say stuff like that about myself, like, I literally don't know how, as like broken as my body is, how I'm still alive. It's okay, because I'm me. I'm silly. Post drawings though. I will post this one to Twitter, and I will let all of you guys know, like, I'm getting my tablet Wednesday. I'm so excited. Like, oh my god, that was like almost my whole tax return to buy, which makes me sick. But I know that I can make a lot of money by doing commissions for people, and I'll update you guys. Like, I'll show you guys once I get the hang of drawing on it. I will show you guys some of my work, so if you know what I'm capable of, and if you guys want to commission me, I would be more than happy to draw some beautiful art for you guys. You guys are wonderful, and I'm going to try and give back to you guys because you've been so sweet and so supportive. Now you're talking about different rounds and how they do or don't fire through different rifles. I don't understand that stuff. I apologize, you guys. I know you're chatting, but I'm going to go to bed because I'm very sleepy. My voice is like almost completely gone. Like, this is all the more I have left. Gargle with salt water to help the wound in your mouth. Okay. I will do that, and thank you. Yeah, time to do my normal little outro thing. If it cuts off in the middle, I apologize. Like, for the longest time, like, when you click end or like stop streaming, it cuts off instantaneously. Like, it doesn't play the rest of what you were saying before you clicked stop streaming. It cuts it off instantly. I don't know how or why. I don't know if that's like the just how upload works on freaking technology, internet, wonderful, like, virtual world. I don't freaking know. Where are my slippers? My feet are cold. Maybe I didn't wear my slippers. Now I'm sad. So yeah, then I would be like, bye, and then I would sit for like 30 seconds and I would watch the stream on my dashboard to see that I said bye, and then I would turn it off. And then they switched it so like it cuts off after, like, you say everything you say and then it cuts off. So if I say this whole spiel and say bye and then click stop recording, it'll stop. So then for a couple streams, I would say bye, and then I would sit there and wait till I said bye, like on the dashboard watching my stream live, and I would hit stop. So then I would say bye, and then I would sit there for like 45 seconds just silently looking around awkwardly before I click the button, and you guys get to see all that in my streams. It's a blast, man. It is wild. My streams are an interesting quality. Go to bed. Go to bed. Get some beauty sleep, even if you don't need it. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm going to do the bye-bye thing now. I'm sorry. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, you legitimately will never comprehend how much it means to me that you are so supportive and kind. I love you guys very, very much. Please resolve to have a good day. If today was shitty, please, I promise you, tomorrow can be better. If you choose to be an active participant in your life, that goodness and that self-actualization will manifest in ways you didn't think possible. Like, you are capable of having an amazing life, and I legitimately know from what I know of you guys from talking to you guys that you deserve it. You deserve to be happy. You just have to go after it. And like, comment, and subscribe and stuff, I guess, and share my things if you like them. That would be super cool. I'd like that. Share my stuff so I get more subs. That would be awesome. I might get some more subs soon. Maybe. if something happens, but I don't know if it's going to happen yet, so I can't say anything. Shh. Okay, I'm going to go now. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Have a good night and stuff. I hope it lets you guys keep chatting for a little while. I don't know if it will or not, but I'm going to go. Good night.